I hope people are here.
Yeah, they'll show up eventually. I mean, they might not, but they might watch it later. But we are live.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We're live. Hey, hey.
Hello,
We'll wait
people.
for people to come on in. Also, is that Starbucks? What's the drink? What's the order?
Yes, okay. So I'm kind of, I guess you could say, back on coffee. Woo!
Oh, she's back on coffee.
But
Insane.
I think it's just like while I'm in America thing. Like when I go back to Europe, I'm quitting coffee again.
Wow.
I'm gonna try. We'll see.
What brought you back?
Well, so in the Starbucks in England, they don't have they don't have sweet cream, and so
What do they have?
They just don't have it. They'll just give you
They
like
just
a
have
little
no
bit
cream?
of like they have plain old cream-ish. Like in England, they don't even really have cream. They give you milk.
Oh.
Yeah. And so if you want, what I get at Starbucks here is a cold brew with vanilla sweet cream. And it's like pretty good. It's like fairly
vanilla
sugary.
sweet cream cold brew. I love that one.
Exactly. And so, hello guys. We're just gonna chat a little bit about my coffee ordeals, and then we'll get this started. But yeah, so they don't have sweet cream in the UK. So I've just when I'm there, I'm just drinking cappuccinos in the morning, and obviously cappuccinos are good, but you know, I don't know. Life is about trying things, and quitting coffee is something to try. It really sucks the life out of you, but it did give me perspective. And I even, because of our chat, I decided to wear this iconic like realizing stuff. And quitting coffee is also something that gives you realizations.
The year of realizing things.
Yeah, that year has never ended for me.
Was it Kylie or Kendall?
Kylie, yeah. As if Kendall could ever say something that profound.
Did you ever read that, what is it? The Jenner sci-fi book?
I haven't. Have you?
I only watched the UnCarly video on it, and I was just like, that sounds horrendous. Horrendous. But yeah. Maybe in another lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
maybe the next time we're bored.
Right. But yeah. Oh, have you tried the pistachio milk? The pistachio
I'm allergic to nuts.
Are you?
Yes,
Oh my
I am
gosh.
weak. I was, I'm not ready for this world.
So like all nuts, like peanuts, almonds,
sure,
cashews.
Almonds, because as a child, like I was force fed almonds because like 3 almonds a day, it's good for your brain. So I'm pretty sure my parents like microdosed me on almonds, so I can't eat almonds. Even though as a child, I really hated it. I'd be like, no, I don't want this, because I think not subconsciously, like I definitely was having some sort of reaction, but my parents were like, no.
Yeah.
So I can eat almonds and like pine nuts, but like cashews, hazelnuts, peanuts, walnuts, no.
Oh my God. So you weren't even on like the cashew milk trend.
No, none of that stuff.
Oh my gosh.
And even like trying oat milk, I don't like that.
You don't like oat milk?
No.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So if you do get like milk, is it almond? Is it soy? Whole? Are you whole milk?
Yeah, just like whatever.
You monster.
Well, normally in my coffee, I like cream. Like
yeah.
Cream is best. So just like, okay, let's say if I were to go to Dunkin' Donuts, I would do a small hot coffee with cream and sugar.
Yeah.
Or I would do no sugar and add just a tiny bit of sugar myself, because sometimes I think people are a little excessive.
Is that what it is? Excessive?
Yeah.
I love me a bacon, egg, and cheese. Dunkin'.
See, I like an egg and cheese croissant. Because I don't eat meat for the most part.
Gotcha. That still slaps though.
Yeah.
Like the perfect like hangover.
It's the best.
Breakfast,
like an egg. Especially when, sometimes when you go, it's Dunkin' Donuts. It's not like the best every single time, but when the cheese melts like perfectly, then that's ideal.
Okay, wait. Dunkin' Donuts on the East Coast. That hits different. Because like on the
Oh, for
West Coast,
sure. There's
I
only
don't know
like
what it
one.
is.
There's just one.
Yeah,
There's not enough.
yeah. But like on the
But
East Coast, it's just like
there's a real what is this called? Labor shortage. So the Dunkin' Donuts by my house, there's two, but the one that we would normally go to, they don't have enough employees, so they like you can't go into the store to get stuff. You have to go through drive-through. And like I was really upset because I didn't know that, and my father wanted a coffee, so I went to go get him a coffee, and I saw that there was a huge
mhm.
line through the drive-through, and I was like, you know what? I'm so clever. I'm not like these lazy Americans. I'm just gonna park my car and walk into the Dunkin' Donuts, but the doors are locked and they don't even have a sign. So there I am trying to like pull the door open, and then I was like, no, I'm the idiot. And then I went through drive-through, and then I was telling my mother about it, and I was like, why don't they have a sign? What if someone's visiting town like me? And then you have to suffer through
Right.
that embarrassment. And then I
Also,
had to
what
go
if you
through
don't have a
drive-through.
car? Like, what do? You just
No
like
one's going to the
stand in the
Dunkin'
car.
Donuts. Maybe.
Oh, I find that with like McDonald's too. And like when I was back home, there seemed to be like a lot of that. Just like, well, it's just like people sit in cars constantly. But
Yeah.
yeah,
But sometimes I
but
think don't like haven't there been TikToks? We'll eventually get to where we're supposed to go in terms of talking. But like don't they form TikTok sometimes of people who go through the drive-through but walk and then people won't serve them?
yeah, I don't think
So it's like,
you're allowed to. I don't know. I don't know what the labor laws are about serving. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. It's like, yeah, what if you don't have a car?
exactly.
Reasons why, I don't know. I kind of like I like Europe and mostly like
Um,
Asian countries because you don't have to rely on a car essentially for the most part.
true, but I unfortunately do believe that the car is king.
Are you driving? Like, do you drive when you're home?
Yeah, yeah. I love
Nice.
driving, but I don't always have access to a car, and sometimes I have to suffer and stay at home and do nothing because I don't have a car.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Because
I just
I
live too
don't.
far away from anything. Like I can't easily go into Boston like unless I'm driving.
Mm, yeah. Oh, but Boston has public transit. Is public transit pretty?
Well, I live in the suburbs, so like I would have to take the
Oh,
commuter
gotcha.
rail, and like I haven't taken the commuter rail since sophomore year, junior year of college when my jacket was stolen at the club and my car keys were in the jacket, so I had to get home
Oh
somehow. So I took the commuter
no.
rail. That's the last time I've done the commuter rail to my house.
Trauma, trauma. I see. Uh,
Yeah.
someone stole your jacket? That's so
Yeah, at the
low.
club. And I then tried to get the club to pay me back for my jacket. I think it did work, but I don't really fully remember. But yeah, that was a low point. And then another time my car was broken into and my laptop was stolen.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's tough.
But see, that's why I don't have a car. I don't got to worry about any of those things. Yeah.
That's true.
No,
And I guess like you're like Seoul's supposed to be really safe, right? So like no one's gonna mug you.
yeah, it's great because Seoul's great because there's like CCTV everywhere.
We
So
love
like
that
you can even
CCTV. Please observe
yes,
us.
1984, Big Brother. But
Yeah,
like you can leave your phone or your wallet at a cafe, leave hour, 2 hours, it'll still be there.
that's really nice. I don't know what it's like to
Yeah.
feel that peaceful.
Let me tell you, like coming back home in LA, I was like,
Yeah.
wow, I'm really spoiled in
Oh,
Korea.
I bet.
Yeah. But yeah, reasons why I don't have a car. Thankfully, public transit's like pretty good. pretty reliable here, so enjoy that a lot. But yeah, I mean, I kind of do miss it. I miss, you know,
Driving? Do you drive? Do you like to drive?
actually, I hate driving. I just like to be in the car.
Passenger princess?
Exactly. You know, I like a nice chauffeur. But no, it's like, you know, if you're with your friends in the car and like the aux is being passed around, it's I don't know. It's
See,
mood.
for
It's
with my friends, most of them, like, they didn't have a car in college, so I was the friend who was always driving, like, us everywhere, so I kind of have control issues. There's very few people I trust driving. Like, if one of my friends is driving, there's only one friend who's driving I'm okay with, but even that,
Mhm.
she tailgates a lot, so it kind of gives me a little bit of anxiety. Like, but she's never gotten into an accident in her life, but she's always tailgating, and I'm always like, not, I would never say this, but in my head, I'm like, yo, like, can you please stop?
Personal space, personal
Yeah.
space. What's going on?
But I like when my sister drives me around because I like to fall asleep in the car. And
Oh,
so
do
when
you?
she's driving, yeah, I love it. It's like the best.
Do you read in the car?
Yeah, I can read in the car too.
You don't get like what is it,
I
like
don't deal with that motion
headaches
sickness.
or
No, no, nothing.
okay. Nice.
I may
Nice.
have allergies, but I don't suffer those maladies.
So that's how you're reading all the time. That's how you're
Like I
such a
can read on
fast
the
reader.
train and stuff too. Like I don't mind.
Yeah, yeah. I have a hard time like reading in direct sunlight, but I mean, I feel like that's maybe everyone. I don't know. Can you?
Sunglasses? So you don't read
Oh,
outside?
right. I wear glasses though. That's the thing. So
So
sometimes
you
I have to
wear
like
glasses underneath the sunglasses. That's what I do. It's I know it's really dorky, but like I have done that, like because I don't
it
have
might clash
sunglasses
with
that
my
have my
outfit
prescription in them.
sometimes.
You have to have bigger
Okay.
sunglasses. It
Yeah.
means you can have like a lot of sunglasses, honestly, if you're going to be doing that. But yeah,
Yeah. I do have prescription sunglasses, which
I need to
I
get
love
some
to
of
wear,
those.
but yeah, you should do it. Oh, if you ever do glasses, you should come to Korea to do it. It's like $80.
You know, Nathan, I am toying with the idea of potentially doing a Seoul, Japan trip.
Oh my God.
Maybe end of the summer. We'll see. Fingers crossed. But if I do,
Yeah, definitely not in the summer. It's too hot. Too hot.
I think
Don't do it.
I think the way my next couple of months are going, I think I might just definitely be in Asia. So we'll see though.
Yeah. Do you have any trips coming up? You're going back to London, right?
Yeah, in June, and then I'm doing men's fashion week. So I'll be in Milan for a couple of days, then Paris, and then I think I'm gonna go see my sister in Bombay, and that will be my
Nice.
summer for the most part. Yeah.
Nice, nice.
Are you doing
Cool.
anything?
For summer,
Mm.
um, it's like way too hot. And
Is it
monsoon
already like
season.
hot? I hate monsoons. That's why I don't want to go to India in the summer. But like,
Oh, does India have monsoons?
yeah, I you don't know this.
Uh,
I'll tell you. But I lived in India one summer during the monsoons, and I did not like it.
okay,
I
well,
really,
what is there to like? It's
but
not like a
listen, but
pleasurable experience.
it's not. However, what I did glean from my time there is that
Hmm.
Indian people really value the monsoons because it's like a respite from the heat.
Uh, yeah,
But like
it's still hot.
and sticky, the water gets everywhere. These people aren't wearing rain boots. I was in Wellington rain boots and everyone's looking at me like I'm the crazy person, but I'm like, no, you guys are wearing sandals in this weather? Like, please. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Same here. No boots, just like sandals. Let them
I'm like,
doggies out.
ah.
Yeah, it's just like the slipper, and then like it's wet, and it's like your bare feet. I can't. That's why I just
Mhm.
don't go out for summer. I try not to, but yeah, yeah, and it's just like too humid and too hot. So summer's like my writing time.
Oh,
It's like
love
the
to
one
hear
time where
that.
I'm just like, someone will be like, "Hey, you want to go out?" I'm like, "Nope, I'm at home. I'm writing. It's too hot out. I'm at
Yeah.
home writing." Yeah, aircon full blast. But yeah.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. But that's cool. Men's Fashion Week, Milan. Should be fun.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Why what are the omens? What are you afraid of?
Well, it's just, it can be a little like overwhelming and tiring. That's about it. But those are
Yeah.
small concerns at the end of the day.
Yeah. No, listening to Brenda talk about like shows and stuff, I was just like, yeah, it's a bit much.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do it, but I don't
It
know.
requires like a lot of stamina, I feel. Hi, Karen. What's up?
Hello, hello,
We've now gone
everybody.
up to 7 people. I know that me and Nathan have been talking a lot about Dunkin' Donuts, driving, the weather, monsoon season. So feel free to chime in with your thoughts about anything, actually.
Yes, yes.
Um, were you going to say something though? I'm sorry. I feel like I interrupted you.
I don't think so. Um, but okay, are you excited to go back to London or just like Europe in
Um,
general?
yeah. Because well, I guess like I came back home last summer for work, and I don't know, there was just a lot more energy last summer in the GBA, the Greater Boston area, if you would. But this time around, the vibes are off, and I'm ready to go back to Europe. Killing 1 hour before your next meeting. Oh, sorry, I misread that. I don't know how to read. I'm here killing time before my 1 hour meeting. 1 hour long meetings. It's not okay. Not
No,
okay.
meaning should be an hour.
No, they shouldn't. There shouldn't even be meetings. Just like slack me. When is Karen visiting the best country in the UK? Wales. Long live Wales. Well, I realized that I'm missing Hay Festival. Do you know about Hay Festival, Nathan? It's like
Yes, I
a
just saw that
literary publishing
something about it.
thing,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it's the first weekend of June and I won't be there. But maybe end of June I can come to Wales, and that would be fun. Yeah.
Do you travel around a lot, like in the UK?
Define a lot. I mean, I really like. I've only been to Birmingham the most besides London. Like Birmingham is the place I've been to the most, but that's just because of like years of childhood. And I've been to York once, and then me and Kieran went to see Drive Your Plows Over the Bones of the Dead, a play. It was somewhere in the UK. I had to take a train there, but I'm just a London girl.
She a city girl. She a city
Yeah.
girl.
I was trying to think of one of those things, but I forgot City Girl.
How was that play, by the way?
Oh, it was really good. If you ever get a chance to see it, I definitely recommend it. It like perfectly condenses the book, I think. And they make a few like funny little artistic choices. Like they decide to play that some silly techno song every like 15 minutes. It does work, but it was also like the song is like motherfucking animals. Karen knows the song. I keep on forgetting the name of the song. It's like a really popular song. It was really big at one point in life. So they play that, and it's just kind of funny. Consider all things considered. But the actress she's going to see Jedwards and Dua at Hey on Why with you, I heard. I'm not, unfortunately, Emma. I am not able to see that. I am potentially going to New York, and I was thinking, what if I run into a certain someone?
He's there right now, isn't he?
I think so. That's what I'm saying. Like, I could run into him, and
It's possible. It's New York.
like.
Have a quick word with him.
Why City Girl, England, you, when you can be a mountain mama, Wales?
Mountain Mama. I love that.
That's me. Mountain mama.
New Hinge profile bio. Love that. Mountain Mama.
Yeah. Should we move on to? Oh, yeah, right. Okay, that was a good impression of the song. I don't know what all
Duh.
those acronyms. Oh, is that what the song is called? No, that's a place in Houston that does cybersecurity. Oh, Drive Your Plows are the ones at the dead. No, right.
That took me a
Animal
while.
song.
That took me a while. Honestly, the play sounds a lot better than the book. I mean, okay, are editors dead? I feel like there's no more editors.
I think they could be. They might just be. There's no
Like
one
some of
who's
the
reining these authors in.
like let's be real, like Bret Easton Ellis, The Shards.
Did you read it?
Like no, but I've been surveying and listening to the reviews and, sheer size is a thing. And most people have said like shave off 100 pages. It's still the same
Yeah.
work. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about Olga.
But it
But
was
yeah,
interesting.
just like
Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say what you told me because I haven't read her interview yet. But in the Paris review, how she was saying that she was working on both novels at the same time. I was just
Yeah. Not even just like four. Like four different books at the same time. And then also she like repeats information constantly. So she's like rewriting the same thing on four different laptops. But
that's
also the poor
wild.
editor is probably not concerned about like how many times she's repeating herself. They're probably like trying to like,
Coalesce it
take all
into
of
one.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Which must be a harrowing job, I could imagine.
Oh, I
But,
bet.
yeah. But editors dead. But speaking of editors, I think Annie Ernaux is like a fab
She
editor
just
of herself.
gets right down to it.
Yeah, it's like the prose is sparse. It's there. It doesn't linger on for too long. Like you done Simple Passion, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was that? 64 pages?
Yeah. Have you
Yeah.
have you read a lot of her work?
I've only done Simple Passion. I want to do
Oh,
more.
same.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm kind of curious to read the new one that's out, the Young whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
But it's
the one
related to
that's article.
the Vogue article you sent. Yeah. But I do also wonder, I feel like she's really good at what she does. And she's clearly had a very fun love life, which props to her. Go off. But I do almost
Yeah.
wonder if there's if you've read one Annie Ernaux, have you read them all?
That's a good question. Well, there is that one that's like about, is it the abortion that she
Yeah.
had?
I think that one's
Yeah.
probably the more different out of them.
Yeah. But all of these like affairs.
Yeah.
I wonder if like if is it from the
Happening is
same affair?
excellent.
Happening. Okay.
Well, the Simple Passions is her affair with the guy who's like Eastern European. That's like a
Yeah.
different guy than the young guy who was 30 years her junior. And then I was looking up, like, right now she's 82 years old. So the guy that she was involved with is he's still probably kicking. So he's like 52.
Yeah. And she's not currently married now, is she? I
I
don't
don't think
think.
so, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Simple
But
Passion was
yes.
really good. Like, I thought it was wonderful. I guess we're just all
Alex, you're a
Sims.
simp. Hi, Alex.
Hello.
We're all simps for her now. But
Hi,
yeah,
Monica.
this boy who's younger than her.
I thought that was
She's got the
wonderful.
youngins.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No, good morning to you. You are an icon. But it's good night for Nathan, actually.
Yeah, I've got my nightcap. We're doing a bit of rosé.
Oh, fun. I have water and the last two sips of my coffee, which I probably won't drink.
Those last two sips are just like the worst. It's just plain
Yeah,
like
exactly.
water. It's like watered
Yeah.
down milk. But yeah. Okay, I don't know why I wrote this down, but I was just thinking about like older women in relationships with like younger men. Did
Mm-hmm.
you know that when Alex Turner and Alexa Chung were together, Alexa Chung was 34
How old is
and
he then?
Alex Turner was 31. I mean, 3 years, not a
Oh,
lot.
okay, okay. I always thought they were like around the same age, which
Yeah,
is
but I
well,
imagine like 2017 during that time, there was, perhaps a stigma. Was there not a stigma? I think there was a stigma.
there probably was, but I feel like I was Alexa Chung. Was her heyday? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because we were
So
talking
yeah, there
about indie
probably was.
sleaze, bringing it back,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
But like indie sleaze era, like younger men dating younger men, kind of slightly taboo, was it not?
Yeah, definitely. It probably still is. Like I feel like when you watch like the Housewives, any of them, I'm sure whatever point the ladies start to go for younger men, people make comments.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
okay, is cheating still taboo?
is cheating still taboo?
Yeah, given like
Well,
Ernaux has like made almost sort of a lifelong,
yeah, she's made a career out of cheating.
yes.
Well, I just think my opinion is that if you're in a relationship with someone under the basic assumption that you shouldn't cheat, it does happen, but you literally had one thing to do. Like, come on now. But then again, I don't have that active of a love life, so like, you know, that's what I think.
Yeah.
But okay, were you on TikTok when that there was that Mormon drama for the woman who was a swinger, and she revealed that like
No.
everyone was swinging in this like
Oh
Mormon
no.
TikTok influencer circle? Like that was really big. This happened maybe like a year and a half ago, I think. And I just remember because my coworkers at the time when I was working a full-time job, they were like, oh my god, like can you imagine swinging? Like that's so messed up. How could you ever? And me, I was like, yeah, I can understand why these people were swinging because they all got married really young and didn't explore. Like I think it makes sense why they were doing it. So I think
Wait,
it's
there
just
was a
all very
Mormon
situational.
influencer circle?
Oh, they're still kicking. They're still around.
Oh,
I'll send you. I mean, we could probably share a screen and do it. I literally talk
do
about
it.
this all the time. I feel.
She thinks about the Mormons.
I like almost like bring it up. I somehow bring this up often, and I can never remember the name of the influencer, even though I'm like always bringing this up. Let's see. Okay, now then I have to figure out how to share a screen. Her name is Taylor Frankie. Oh, okay. This
I
is a
personally
56
liked
second long video.
it.
Oh, you did?
You know,
Okay,
when I read it at the
let's.
Urban Outfitters.
Because you wouldn't spend money on it, right? You just read it for free.
Exactly. It's a pretty pink book.
Okay. Can the people see? I hope you can hear.
The Taylor Frankie Paul Mormon mom swinger drama.
Oh, yes.
News came out that Taylor had cheated on her husband Tate with another man from the Mormon community. She allegedly cheated on Tate with this man named Braden, who was married to this woman named McKenna. The story gets even messier because McKenna had ties to a woman named Victoria, who was also part of the Mom Talk community, as pictured here with her husband. Fans really started believing the rumors of this alleged cheating when Victoria posted a TikTok with McKenna, the wife of the husband who Taylor allegedly cheated with. And someone commented saying, "Tell McKenna, everyone loves her, supports her, and is on her side." And Victoria responds, "I will, thank you so much." And Taylor's husband Tate completely deletes her presence from his social media. Shortly after that, Camille and Miranda unfollow Taylor, and they publicly say that they're no longer friends with Taylor. Following the events, Taylor then decides to go on TikTok Live to just explain the situation, and I think at that point everything just goes ablaze. And follow for part 3.
Okay, that was part 2, I guess. I don't know, but
Damn, that's a lot. I'm invested now.
Yeah, definitely look into it. It's actually pretty funny.
Did I say journalism was dead?
It's not
It's not dead.
Yeah, my For You page, as I've told Nathan before, is it's pretty bad. It's really bleak. I get also a lot of the tarot stuff, like this month is going to change your life. There's a stranger who's really interested. It's like, no, this isn't happening. Stop it. Like, I literally feel like I could just start making shit up and people will believe me.
You should start making content.
Like what? Oh, I'm also reading Exalted right now, which I guess is kind of similar. It's about two women, one who's an astrology meme person, and she like makes memes but about astrology, and she's like kind of believes astrology but also doesn't. And yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I do think about like what it would be like to just start making shit up and then going off.
I love that. Meme writing about memes. Paris Review features meme writing.
Oh, do they? In the newest one?
Yeah.
I've just been skipping around, so I don't know what's happening.
It's fine. It's a fun thing to skip around through. But yeah. I guess I've been blessed. I just have like aesthetic shit.
Nathan, there's no need to brag
like
here.
Paris
Like
Rex.
My sister also has a good For You page.
Also, I'm trying to send you stuff.
I know. I appreciate it. But like, I don't know why I have to suffer this way. I mean, maybe it's just like a sign from the universe that's like, please stop going on TikTok. Please write something. Like, get off of this clown app. Go do something with your life. Yeah.
That's a lot to ask for.
I know.
But yeah, Annie Ernaux, an entire career on affairs.
Yeah.
Like you can cheat your way to get a Nobel Prize. Oh, sorry, was it Pulitzer? Or was it Nobel?
No, she won the Nobel for
Nobel.
literature.
Yeah. But maybe this is it. Maybe this is the, cheating is no longer taboo. Thanks to the Nobel.
Yeah.
Nobel Prize. Who knows?
Well, I think it's quite admirable that she's lived a fun life and she's able to, because some people could have experienced, many people probably experienced a lot of the same things, but they wouldn't be able to write it in such a pristine and objective point of view.
Yeah. With like also like this super raw honesty. And the prose is also just delectable. I just love it. Yeah. But
hi, Alexa. We were just talking about you. Not you particularly, but anyone named Alexa. That's so nice. I love eavesdropping to anyone. I will literally stop talking at a dinner just to like listen to the people next to me.
Same. Some of the best writing can be done eavesdropping.
Exactly. And I think so many people are gossips or love to hear gossip. And
wait, this is why I love New York, because at like tables and everything is just like so tight knit and everything.
Yeah.
Especially, you just like hear everything. It's great. I just love it. It's like such good material.
Exactly. And life is material. That's why Annie Ernaux she's using her life as material.
Yeah. To get the Nobel.
Exactly.
Hot stuff. Has this article been shared? Should we? Oh, sorry. If anyone doesn't know, we're talking about this article by Vogue UK.
Oh,
titled,
yeah.
Often I have made love to force myself to write.
Let me share screen again. Let me figure this out. But I think Alex said something really interesting. I don't know if we want to.
Oh, yes.
Speaking of gossip, do you both have any interest in reading the new Brandon Taylor that recently popped off a few days ago? Nathan, I'll let you go first.
I have not. I haven't seen Jalen's talk yet. I've only seen what he posted on Instagram story about them talking about RuPaul's Drag Race. And that piqued my interest now. But I also follow his Substack, which is a lot of fun. But I haven't read any Brandon Taylor.
Me either.
Okay, I'm not the only one. I feel bad.
Yeah,
Like,
I know,
I know I should
same
read
kind of
Brandon Taylor,
ish.
but
But yeah, I just
okay,
haven't read any of his
yes.
stuff.
Yeah. Does anyone have Rex? Like, where should I start? Has he written a
Should
lot?
we
I feel like
start?
he's written.
Like at least 3 books
Yeah.
and a Substack and a lot of tweets. It's a lot of material.
Yeah. I love the writing online and offline. Really cool.
Yeah.
That he's like active. Because your interview with
Derek?
what's his name? Yeah, Derek. He had talked about like not having like he's only active on Instagram, he said,
Yeah. Yeah.
and not like really involved in sort of the writer self that's online, right? Yeah, which I feel like a lot of writers now are sort of being pressured into
Hmm.
somewhat. Sort of like the music industry now, like with Caroline FK
Like they want you
Twigs,
on TikTok.
and
Yeah.
yeah, they're on TikTok, and it's like, yeah, very, very interesting. But like Melissa Broder, for example, is like heavily online, Twitter and all.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, like does the writer now have to be an online presence?
I think it was really interesting how Derek was calling it author as commodity. That's how he kept on like framing it. But then there's
Yeah,
some people they don't need to do it. Like I know Tessa, she doesn't need to be active on social in order for her to have that following. But I guess other people it's just like should writers be like isolated people or can they also like engage with the culture and the community?
yeah. Hmm. Whatever happened to the recluse? Are there any more recluse
Oh.
writers? You know, like go back to the old days of Salinger. Just like, you know,
I'm sure there must be. We don't have access to their work yet.
yeah. Oh, what's her face? Fleur Yagi. Fleur Yagi's quite,
Oh yeah. But she's like old school. You know what I mean? Like she didn't grow
yeah.
up. No one needed to tell her to touch grass. She's always been touching grass.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Are there any
She
modern
like
day recluses? I don't think so, right?
the author why I'm saying that is because we finished Ada by Jarrett Kobek. It reminded me of Tomorrow They Won't Dare to Murder Us by an author whose name I'm forgetting, but there's like only one photo of him on the internet. He barely does interviews. He just doesn't want the public attention. But that novel that he wrote, I'll share the cover because otherwise it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Tomorrow They Won't Dare to Murder Us. But he's kind of a recluse, I think. By Joseph Andres.
Interesting.
But I think this is the only novel that he's written.
Crazy.
Yeah, and like this is the photo of him.
The one single photo. Who took it?
I think I'm gonna get paywalled. Oh. This
For
person?
looking at a picture.
Yeah. I guess not. Oh, there we go. Right on time.
Love that. But yeah, people, what Brandon Taylor should we be reading?
His most recent one. I don't even know what his books are about.
Yeah, I can't say what they're about either. The latest one's The Late Americans, though, right?
They all kind of have American titles. Like it's all like This American Life almost.
All About America.
Yeah.
It's friendship. Novel Friendship and Chosen Family. Asks fresh questions about love and sex, ambition and precarity, and human beings.
Okay, Alex has given us the tea. They're just gossipy campus novels.
Gossipy campus novels.
Okay, here's my hot take. I don't really like I know there's some authors and people who really gravitate towards like the campus novel and exploring academia. Like I just really don't care. Like I don't know, like I went to college. I lived it. I don't need to go back. It was fine.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
No, I agree to a certain extent in that, like, for those who have done MFA or Iowa or whatever, they feel like they have the need to talk about the campus experience. And I feel like by the writer's maybe third or fourth book, they can write about it and it's fine. It's like their one-off book. Same about writing. Like, if they're writing a book about writing or about a writer, and it's like, okay, fine, that's it. You get the one book, that's it. Your next book cannot be about the campus or the writer.
Yeah.
Okay. Otessa's done it, Death in Her Hands
Yeah.
is about writing. But yeah, I feel like every single writer is allowed at least one, just the one. And that's it.
Yeah.
I'm done.
No, I feel you.
Yeah. But okay, Late Americans. I'll think about it. Actually, I had a NetGalley, but I didn't pick it up. Just like my NetGalley list is just like really big right now. So it's just like
Yeah.
kind of overwhelming.
Fell to the
And
wayside.
yeah. But yeah. Brandon Taylor. But okay, if we start, Late Americans.
Yes.
What are you reading
that's
now,
where-
though? BTW.
I'm like in the midst of a bunch of stuff. I finished Kitchen Confidential yesterday. I finished the book that we just read today. I'm reading Solenoid, as are you.
I did 3 pages today.
I've done like 0 for the last 3 weeks, but I really need to finish it before I go back to Europe. I'm in Crime and Punishment, Part 3, and I just started Exalted last night. And I'm like on the first like 20 pages of Aesthetica.
Oh, nice. The social media.
Yeah.
Nice.
What about
Cool.
you?
How did you like Kitchen Confidential? It's on my summer reading list.
Oh, it was great. I did it on audio, so I was listening to like Anthony Bourdain, like
his voice.
It was wonderful. Yeah, it was so nice.
Yeah.
I think it's like it's interesting to know more about him as a character. Like I really love the moments when he's actually talking about his childhood and what made him so interested in food. And then like towards the end of the book, he talks about his first time going to Japan, which I loved. The stuff about the restaurants definitely is very interesting, but I like grew up in restaurants. So in some regard, like I kind of know the kind of characters who are in restaurants, but I think it's just, he is a really wonderful writer. Like he's totally like himself, and it definitely helps that he was narrating it, but I liked reading it. It was fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. That makes me excited. Did you know he wrote like crime?
Yeah. He talks about them like once or twice. He's like, yeah, so because I worked at this restaurant, which was basically owned by the mafia, I was able to write this crime novel. I was like, oh.
Love that. Yeah, I'm really excited to read it. I've been meaning to get to it for a long while. Which is Ricky's question, which was, what book have you been dying to get to but still haven't read?
I mean,
Kitchen Confidential.
There's just so many, though. How can we pick one? Like, we both just admitted that we haven't read anything by Brandon Taylor, you know?
I'm slacking. No, but this year, I brought them here, have them here. But I've been wanting to read Iris Murdoch. Haven't done her yet. So, okay. Kat. I'm doing a buddy read with Kat's Field Notes.
Oh, nice.
We're doing, Sacred Profane Love Machine. So, it'll be our first Murdoch. Yeah. And then...
Oh.
Ferrante.
You haven't read any of her fiction, right?
Because the covers are so fucking ugly.
Yeah, same.
I'm
I haven't
sorry,
read any of her
they
fiction.
They just need a redo, honestly.
And
it's twice. Twice they've done it. they've been printed twice.
Yeah, I don't
And
know why they're doing her
both,
dirty. Oh
yeah,
gosh.
yeah, so dirty. But doing this with Charles.
Oh,
Love
nice.
Charles. Yeah, starting next week, I think. Yeah. And then I'm gonna do The Apple in the Dark by Clarice Lispector. This is getting a
Okay.
new translation by New Directions in October of this year, I believe.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to read this translation first before the new one. And yeah. What about you? Is there like an author that you like really, really want to get to?
Uh, I think I realized this. I realized it this year. I really want to read Middlemarch once I finish Crime and Punishment and Solenoid.
Classics? Okay. She doing classics?
Yeah, because I was reading like Genius and Ink, which is a collection of essays by Virginia Woolf, and she was speaking about George Eliot, and then someone else that I was reading or watching their video, like she seems like people really like her writing. Who would have known? And I just feel like I should really get to it. And it's
Yeah.
calling to me now, but I need to finish Crime and Punishment and Solenoid.
Big books.
I know. Oh my gosh. Speak and he shall appear. Yes.
He has appeared. There he
Thank you
is.
for joining us. I mean, I don't know, maybe I should
Welcome,
join you
welcome.
guys in your Eleanor Ferrante read. But like,
Have you done Ferrante?
no, I haven't. None at all. I mean, just that her nonfiction on writing, a
Oh,
little essay.
okay. Okay. But yeah, Charles, we were just talking about Days of Abandonment.
Yeah.
I
mean,
hear
I
this
feel like
one's a
that
sexy one.
covers like okay. It's better
That's
than
why I'm
the
doing it.
yeah.
Gifted to me by Yena, by the way, modern
Oh,
Ajima. So very sweet.
nice.
Yeah. Very excited. But yeah, I just can't. I'm just waiting for like a new edition. Like, can they do it where like Picador did the Cusk books? You know, it's just like it's so iconic. If they could just do like a version of that for a new front. Covers are so ugly.
Yeah.
Like, who approved that? Who approved that? Ugh. But Middlemarch, okay. Big books. So you're doing like the big book summer.
I mean, let's hope I can even finish Crime and Punishment and Solenoid this summer.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because
I believe in you.
Thank you. Someone does.
No, you got it. You got it. Crime and Punishment though. Oof. I don't know. I haven't done
Well,
it.
honestly, I would say I was really apprehensive going. Admittedly, I have made a few jokes while we're on here that I'm still in the middle of it, but it's actually quite easy to read. And I would say I was really surprised by the humor in there. It's actually quite funny. It's very easy to read. It's just like one of those things where you just like kind of put it down and you're like, I'll read something that's easier, quicker, shorter. But it's not hard. It is really good. And I like that the main character, his name is Rascal Nikov or something like that. It's basically his name is Rascal because he is a rascal. And he's just like a student who's suffering and like lazy and useless. Like he's a useless kid. But I really identify with that because he's like the maid who comes to his room to check in on him. She's like, "What are you doing? Like you used to be a teacher. What do you do?" And he's like, "I'm thinking." And I was like, "Oh my god, yes, you like thinking is so hard and it takes up so much of our time."
Relatable
know, like-
rascal.
Exactly. So I'm really identifying with the character. I don't know. That probably reveals more about me than anything else, but yeah.
Yeah. But you say like when you put it down, you want like an easier read. So like what is
Well,
that?
not
Is it
an
because
easier
just
read. Just something that's like you can like digest it like in one go. It's very quick and easy. Do you know what I mean? Like
like an Emily Henry?
no,
Like-
who do you think I am? No, just like something that's like shorter pages because you know you can just like it feels like an accomplishment having finished the book. Whereas with Crime and Punishment, it's also like we've spoken about this often, like having books that you can just put in your pocket and like leave. Like Crime and Punishment is a brick. Like it doesn't fit into my pocket.
Yeah.
I know Happy
Yeah.
Place is really good. My mother got it, so maybe after she reads it, I'll pick it up. Not to knock on Emily Henry, right? Because we read everything over here.
Yeah, no discrimination.
Yeah.
What did we just read? We read about a 9/11 terrorist.
Wonderful segue.
Honestly, also, speaking of books that I can fit in my pocket.
This is a wonderful one. I really liked,
Yeah.
just from forgetting what's inside this book, which was good, but it has a wonderful texture.
Yes.
The pages are quite nice.
Yeah.
Whoever did MIT Press, good job.
Yeah. It's near you. Semiotext. They do really cool stuff.
I want more books like that.
Yeah.
I love. This probably doesn't sound very nice to people listening. I mean, unless you like ASMR, I guess. But it's just like nice. I like it so much.
Yeah. I had this shirt. I wish I had it, but it's in the wash right now. But there was a pocket. I got a shirt with a big pocket. The book fit in the pocket, the shirt pocket.
Nice.
It was fab. I was just like, more books need to be this size. See, that's my thing. It's like Crime and Punishment, big book. Did you really need that many pages
like that
to
TikTok,
say something?
The one that looks at War and Peace, and I was like, what was the serious?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
No, for sure. Yeah. But I guess if you really think about it, what was there to do back then?
That's true.
You know, just like, yeah, go off, write another 1,000 words about the bridge or some baloney, like whatever.
Yeah.
But now we have things to do. You need to finish writing your novel very quickly so that we can go back to TikTok.
Exactly. So where are the editors? They need to be editing down these massive books.
Yes.
But yeah, no, crazy. All in all, did you enjoy this?
Yeah. I enjoyed it on an intellectual level because, okay, for those of you who don't know, this book is Ada by Jarrett Kobek, which is a sort of fictionalized biography on the lead ringleader of the 9/11 attack. So on that, like, because as we've been discussing, a lot of contemporary novels aren't as bold and audacious, if you would. They're not really they're not really tackling issues of contemporary life that head on. I think that this was wonderful in that reason. I really gravitated towards it. It was provocative. There were some parts that worked better for me than others. Yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it. You tell me, what did you think?
I think with the help of the article that I sent you,
Mm-hmm.
it really fleshed out exactly like what he was doing and what he was going for in terms of themes of like ideology and where he came about and sort of the development of where, you know, like his jihadist thought and things were coming from. Was it childhood trauma? Was it his dad, toxic masculinity, misogyny? Was it all of these different things? And God's voice, what is faith, all of these things. And I think written also through, okay, I'll be honest, the architecture bits kind of lost me. But when I read the article, I was like, oh, okay, I could see what he was doing with like buildings and sort of places that ground you. And did that work for you?
I think the architecture bits worked for me a little bit better because I on that line of logic, I was with him. I was like, yeah, the modern architect, like the brutalism, what we have. Because sometimes when I'm traveling or just living life and I look at the landscape and I think, like, we are supposed to be so smart, so creative. And what have we done to this world? Like, it's ugly. Strip malls. I mean, obviously, there's a time and place for a strip mall. Like, I'm American. I do value them, but you still do think like everything is so ugly. And the argument that was being made that like the modern architecture of like high rises and these apartment buildings, that they really ruin community, I think is very true. Like, so for that I was really down for. And I really liked the first person narration.
Yeah.
But when we would flip to third, it was really disorienting. And I think that as a whole, because I was reading a review on Goodreads, I don't often go there, but I think this one kind of got where I was coming from. This never really hits the sweet spot that a solid psychological portrait should, but does have brief flourishes of poetic brilliance as far as the prose is concerned. And like as a whole, I think obviously I think like that article that you sent us, we'll share screen so you guys can also see it. That really helped. But I would say that if the attempt was to fully show us what his, like it didn't fully do the job I think he wanted it to do.
Yeah. Given, I think, the size of it also, it's hard. It's hard to, I think, juggle those things.
Well, that's where I
think,
almost feel like an editor needed to come in and to tell him to maybe like narrow the scope just a little bit.
Yeah.
It gets almost too audacious what he's doing.
Yeah. And I think that's why without this article, I would have liked it less, because this gave like a lot of background information to see where he was coming from with all these ideas of fiction versus nonfiction, and the incorporations of both, and moving through either one in order to present something as historical fiction, but also
But so much of it is
much,
grounded in reality.
yeah. And if like he was talking about in the article, like if 95% of the book is fact and 5% is left to fiction, like what can we do with that 5% and shrink it down to, you know, being it a biography, you know?
Yeah.
I think plays around with the idea of like what narrative can be.
Yeah. I think is this where it was? As to whether the book is fiction or nonfiction, that's a question I'd love to have a pat answer for, but I don't know, because I'm not sure. You do get to a point where if 95% of the book is true or is factual or has sources for it, how much more do you need to be nonfiction? And what's the difference between fiction and nonfiction? If you look at something like McDermott's book or The Oral History of Bin Laden called The Bin Laden I Know, how much of those are true? So that's why I've invented the only slightly pretentious term psychedelic biography.
Which I loved, that term, psychedelic biography. Yeah. But yeah, just like building this like world building through investigative questions and also immense research that he did. I think that's what it was, is that the immense research that he did do sort of lose the sort of like the
Did
touch
that take
bases.
you out of it?
Not entirely, because I think it was very informative in that, given this article, that like 9/11 as a whole thing, there's like this whole fact and fiction thing that occurs when we think of these huge, you know, catastrophic events, that we forget what the truth is sometimes, and in that forgetting, we create these like mini fictions. I think also in the article he talks about like the people that talked about like knowing Ada on like a personal basis and inventing fictions. So like overall, I think it's like an incredibly audacious experiment in like fiction and nonfiction and the play between both realms.
Yeah. I think it's just one of those things where I also feel like on its own, the novel, like to really appreciate what he's doing, I think you do need to do supplementary reading on the author and like look at interviews like this one, which really adds to the reading experience because you understand it better. But on its own, you would kind of get a little lost in the sauce if you watch.
Yeah, it's definitely that. I think way too intellectually ambitious
Yeah.
and doesn't exactly hit the points that it entirely wants to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I appreciate the attempt. I appreciate the work because
for sure.
I don't think I've read like this is my The Sluts of 2023, I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Well, I just feel
Yeah.
like we've kind of spoken about this before in the past, is that there's just not enough contemporary stuff that's really experimental. And though this isn't necessarily experimental in terms of form, I mean, there are moments of it, right? Like when there's the Robert Frost poem written in Morse,
Yeah.
but intellectually, this is quite experimental, and it's just there's not as much of that happening.
hmm
You
Yeah.
really have to search for it because the mainstream publishers or what's being spoken about isn't as engaging.
Yeah. But in addition to this, there's also the sort of short story about
Oh,
Osama
yeah.
bin
About
Laden.
Saddam, yeah. No, Saddam.
Sorry, Saddam Hussein.
Yeah.
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 What are your thoughts on the
Well, when I finished it,
that piece?
I had a feeling that I was like, have I read this before? Like, I had this weird sense of deja vu where I was like, I think I've read this. Like, I don't know. I feel like I've come across this before. But I thought that the short story was wonderful. I thought it was absolutely delightful. And had the rest of the book maybe been like that, I could have fully
Mm,
signed up for it.
yeah.
So for those of you guys who haven't read this, at the very end, there's a short story about Saddam Hussein, which is basically looking at maybe an hour or like, I don't know, 5 hours before he's captured by the Americans. And you're really going into his psyche and his belief that of his own greatness as a leader, as a ruler, as the president of Iraq, who's also king. Like he refers to himself as a king. And he's also like like he writes novels. Like I looked him up. These novels are real. And he's
Oh
like an
shit, they
artist in
are.
his own right. Yeah, they're real.
Oh my
So
God,
like,
that's insane.
and he has this fascination with Walt Whitman, and I thought it was delightful.
Yeah, I thought that was wild. I had no idea he had the hots for Whitman. That was wild.
Yeah.
It makes me think though, like, a question that I had was like Western ideology coming into his realm of the world and its impact.
Mm.
And because Ada was like very against that, especially I loved like the bits where like when they do the trip to Disneyland,
Hmm.
thought that was hilarious. But just like all of this like anti-American um
Rhetoric.
yeah, rhetoric and here's the little last bit talking about Whitman. It's just like kind of funny.
Well, I think that's also like it's something that people kind of forget, or I think it's like a generational thing that in the time that Otto was born, the Muslim Brotherhood was really strong in Egypt, and their ideas of the West were far more. They have like that historic but like recent history to be like, yeah, America's really fucked things up, America is bad. But like Saddam was born I think in 1907, something like that. Like
Mm,
he's had a different lived experience with America, and it reminded me of how like Jinnah, the founder of Pakistan, like he was a Muslim who ate pork. He was educated like in the West. He drank whiskey. Like he's not the ideal perfect Muslim. He's actually was quite versed in the West. And so it's the different times demand different educations and different influences.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Which is interesting because as a leader also,
Mm-hmm.
you have this immense age, but also dealing with sort of um, a younger new generations. It's this like contrast of different generations and equating on the same ideologies to, you know, reach this like singular belief and singular ideology.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And it also just like reminds me of like America and like our current, most of our leaders in Congress and whatever, like they're quite old. And you just notice that there is like a really big disconnect, like especially for example, like TikTok has come up a lot in this conversation, but like, you know, when the leaders of tech companies go and speak to government officials and the questions they ask are like just so disconnected from everything. It's like you're just too old for this stuff, guys.
yeah, truly mutiny, you know,
Yeah.
out with the old and with the new.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, overall, three
Would
stars,
recommend.
4 stars.
Nathan, I have a really hard time giving stars to art. How can we do that? Like I can't.
I think I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads.
But the reality is it's a 3-star book for Nathan.
Yeah, yeah, 5 stars, 5 stars. Yeah, I don't know. I think this might be top 10 maybe
Yeah,
in terms of
I think we
like
could.
experimental form. I think there's a
Yeah.
special place in my heart for experimental fiction. So I always
Yeah,
leave a little room for one of them. So I think this is the one. Yeah,
definitely.
but I think yeah, maybe somewhere closer to a 3.5.
In execution.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Could have been cleaned up, but I think he's experiencing something where because of like America, like he had a hard time getting this out.
It feels like
So
it seems like he's had a hard time with everything he's published.
yeah, and so he had to like sort of go to Europe to sort of you know find
Do
home
it.
base. Yeah, to do these things, but yeah, just made me think of like us as expats or people who leave home in order
Yeah.
to yeah make sense of the world or to find people that understand us in a way.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, it was good. Good stuff.
I would
Otto.
also, yeah. If anyone has recs for things like this, experimental in form and content, drop them in the comments, or if you're watching this later, let us know because I think we'd both be inclined to read more stuff like this.
Yeah. I kind of like want to read news. Like I don't know, I'm not quite sure like what experimental stuff is out. Like
This is only sparked because you said the word new. I do think it's somewhat of an interesting conversation to speak of. We both have grown up in worlds that were ultimately so shaped by 9/11 that it's very much so embedded in our, like, the post 9/11 world is our world. Like it's hard to really remember a time before that. Um our perspective reading this is very different than someone who would actually have the, like, I remember what all the like news channels were saying and the discourse. Like obviously there was a lot of it, but that's just like I don't have that memory at all. And I do think that's like a very interesting thing to think of, how the different reading experience it would be coming from someone who was like actually already an adult when 9/11 happened versus us.
yeah, yeah. I'm curious about those thoughts because
Mm-hmm.
not a lot of people talk about this. Sadly, I
Yeah,
think on Goodreads there's like what like 5 reviews. I think
yeah, there's
like
37. Oh, okay,
yeah,
yeah, then.
like 5 written ones. I think
Yeah.
And I think there's only like 2 videos on this book on YouTube in terms of like other booktube creators. One by Mark, who did a very, very wonderful breakdown of the book. But yeah, more experimental fiction. If anyone's a fan or knows of anything out there, be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But speaking of like sort of like historical fiction, this mellow spot between fiction and nonfiction. What are your thoughts on autofiction?
Well,
Are you
I
done with it?
take
Are you tired?
I take umbrage with the genre, the terminology. I just feel like it's something that for whatever reason in our more contemporary, like the last 2-3 years, is like people are always talking about autofiction. But I almost feel like a lot of things are mislabeled autofiction, especially when you take into account that so many authors do pull from experiences from their real life. Like most of the modernist authors, like every time they had like a love affair that went wrong, they would turn it into a book. Like I just
Yeah.
it's something that we almost spend too much time talking about, I think.
Yeah. I think it's this like weird blend of postmodern into new sincerity, and then like new sincerity and mixing in with like sentimental writing, and then sentimental writing mixed in with like a lot of the essaic work that we've been given like in the past decade. And then this like weird space of like fact fiction. Like, what is it? Autofiction?
Mm-hmm.
For centuries, I feel like we've always taken from personal experience and wrote it into fiction.
Yeah.
But I forgot. But there was that Dirt article that I sent. I think it was like Thomas Bernard or someone, modernist writer, said that 1967 was the death of the novel because before that people could write novels without having to rely on personal experience, not like writing into it
Mm-hmm.
directly, but like having to rely on it. And yeah, the whole Dirt article was based on like AI writing and how AI writing is the new post 1967 novel because it doesn't need to rely on personal experience. It doesn't need to rely on history because AI doesn't have that. Like
Yeah.
ChatGPT just like writing a novel. It's kind of crazy. But
Yeah.
you
I
think
just
like but you think like the term has been like overused to the extent where it's used improperly, would you say?
Yeah, I think so. And it's a very like nebulous term in the same way because you can put that label onto a lot of things.
Hmm.
It's just so hard to define. Is
Yeah,
my problem with it as well.
yeah. I think it's one of those things that like just happens in like contemporary rhetoric, in that it gets muddled, like wellness
Yeah.
or
Mindfulness,
mindfulness. Yeah, all of those things.
self-care.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
where you
that's just like literature.
a lot of people say that
With Annie
autofiction.
Ernaux.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, yeah. But she's been doing it for ages.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. And then,
Um,
because I decided to read an article on this that was like defining autofiction, but then it also reminded me, it mentions it in the article, but Shantor Conroy's fuckboy, Kieran, if you're here, he talks about the I novel in Japanese like literary tradition. And it's like that starts in the early 20th century. This a sort of similar thing. Like there is a precedence for it that's beyond like us living in contemporary life and calling everything autofiction. And there was an author whose name I'm forgetting right now, who we don't really speak about in the Western context as much, but she was really quite prominent. Sorry, that's a really bad contribution to this chat, guys. But there is like the I novel in Japan, is what I'm trying to say. Annie Ernaux is at the forefront of autofiction, but she herself rejects the label. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, maybe this is who I'm talking about. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Alex. Yeah.
We'll be jotting that name down.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like thoughts on Elif Batuman? Either
I haven't
or.
read her.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't read The Idiot or Either Or. Yeah.
Okay.
But you tell us.
But
I'm sure there's people, like I know Alex has read it and stuff.
yeah, I feel like Elif Batuman is perhaps at the forefront of autofiction in that she basically took her own
College
personal
experience.
yeah, and then wrote these two books. And yeah, I don't know, has like a major chokehold on people here and autofiction itself. But that's interesting because it like sways into, I don't know. It's like also when I think about it, it's like intention. What is the author's intention?
Mm,
What are we doing
yeah.
with personal experience, right? Why does it have to be our own personal experience to be fleshed out in fiction in order to convey a message? There's that whole argument, like it's write what you know or write what you don't know. And I think it's a mix of both. And I think in the mix of both, you do end up eventually writing about yourself or writing about the things that you don't think
about
entirely. Yeah. And then apply it to yourself or vice versa. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, I know like some authors some
go ahead.
authors speak about how they have to write in order to better understand themselves and the situation they encounter. But then I do also think that sometimes, I don't think that's the case probably for all authors, because sometimes things can happen in your life and you're like, no, that's funny. Like that's material. There's something that can be worked there, or just life sometimes is more, reality can be more wild than fiction itself, especially when you read a lot of nonfiction. You really start to think that. And there's just stuff that happens in someone's life that it's just good for a novel, even if the intention of that novel is more so maybe to use the lived experience to entertain, you know?
Yeah. And I think Elif Bachman does that a lot with Either Or, taking these like extremely awkward, not so much shameful experience, but turning them into humor. And in essence, I think the novel is beautiful because it's almost a second chance at an experience, at lived experience, being able to play. Or was it Flannery O'Connor or Joyce Carol Oates that said, fiction is the unlived life, right? In that we can sort of play out the past in new and unexpected ways. And then it's where we as readers come in and are able to relate.
Yeah. And like add our own layers to it.
Yeah.
Oh, so
but yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to go back to, because you reminded me of Joyce Carol Oates, who I think is like an interesting contrast with Annie Ernaux, because I remember when, I don't know, Joyce is always saying stuff, right, on Twitter or something like that. And a couple months ago, maybe a year ago, there was some like Twitter beef because of something someone said about Joyce, about how she shouldn't be writing about Marilyn Monroe because she didn't have a salacious love life. And I think it's like an interesting thing to think about, because clearly like Annie Ernaux like walked the walk, you know, like she was living life. And so when she's able to write her stuff, obviously it is pulling a lot from like the I perspective, but she has a lot of the lived experience to back up what she's writing. So like she's never probably, I mean, maybe she has, but like she's, if we were to look at what constitutes, and I think Eve Babbitt's, and also I'm jumping all over the place, guys, but like Eve Babbitt's and Joan Didion are also good contrasts in the same regard, and that Eve Babbitt's was a very sensual woman. Like she would even call herself a groupie, but she did tongue in cheek because she's so smart, but was also living this very decadent life. And then Joan Didion was a married woman who built an image of herself as being cold and austere, and who of those two women, obviously Eve Babbitt has had quite a bit of a resurgence in more recent years, but like they were able to build different careers based off of the perception they built around themselves and their sexuality.
Yeah.
We're able to follow. I was jumping around a lot.
No, I see what you're going. It's like, who has license? Who has license to be able to write about these experiences? Annie Ernaux, who has lived it, and but then it's like, I think also a question of aesthetics too. You know what I mean? Because Annie Ernaux, I think her prose is like wonderful.
Yeah.
There's just like this beautiful layer. Oh, sure. Okay, we've got the lived experience. We've got wonderful prose, concise sentences and ideas that flow in beautifully. Babbitt's as well. Babbitt's, who wrote both fiction and nonfiction, and also has like wonderful prose. And I think even it just exudes more of the effect of being able to balance on the tightrope of fiction and nonfiction in that auto-fiction way. Same with Joan Didion, who also wrote fiction and then, you know, did a bunch of nonfiction. Who also has good prose. Is there a writer out there who just doesn't have very good prose? Who doesn't have the license? You know what I mean? Like, how do we decide that license too? It's also a good question.
Yeah.
Where are the critics? Are the critics dead?
Yeah. No, there's a role for critics. But the one thing is, Joan Didion, if you use her in that example that we're using of the three, I haven't read any of Joyce's fiction, so I can't really comment on her, but Joan Didion's nonfiction, obviously I haven't read everything, but her nonfiction is different, I think, than maybe Eve Babbitt's nonfiction, because I feel like Eve is so present in her nonfiction in a way that Joan Didion is always the observer. She keeps it very like distant and removed.
Yeah, she's definitely that wallflower.
Yeah, like she, like I don't feel like she inserts her personal like sensuality, sexuality into her writing very much. Like hers is so cold in the way that Eve Babbitt's writing like doesn't have that coldness. Like there's like a life to it. Yeah.
Eve Babbitt's definitely was involved. She wanted to be part of it. Well, yeah, at the party, Eve was the party. She was the party. And then Joan Didion was that sad little shy woman in the corner, just like watching everything.
Yeah. Judging.
You know, they had beef.
They did, but they were also friends too, I thought. Like,
yeah, it was
Joan
like on
really
and off.
championed her.
Yeah. There were letters. They wrote each other letters.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think, I don't know, Joan is interesting in that I don't think she championed enough female writers. Like, sure, Eve, but then that's it. Like these, what was that, estate sale, or like that sale went on after she passed away.
Yeah, the auction.
All her books. Yeah, the auctions. All the books, men. Men. It wasn't even a single Babbitt's on her shelf. I think there was a Renata Adler, was the only female writer. But all the rest was like Henry James, Hemingway, and Fitzgerald, just like men. But Babbitt's was like she was like for her time, like ahead of her time for the women.
Yeah,
She was like pro woman.
she
Yeah,
was.
yeah. Well, Joan Didion almost, I don't know, had this like almost like Orange County conservatism to her.
Hmm.
I don't know what it was. I don't know
Well,
what it
I think it's
was,
more like
but
it's like aspirational. She wants to be like a wasp, kind of.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. But she's the only wasp I'll accept.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the prose is there. The prose
Yeah,
is there.
definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, that's interesting. I don't think, yeah, Joan Didion. Does she write sexy scenes? I'm
Not
trying to think, like,
really.
play it as the lays.
Oh,
Does it
I
have
haven't read
any
her fiction, so maybe.
fiction? Maybe it exists in her fiction. I forget.
Yeah.
I don't remember. But um, yeah. Alex, if you're still watching, are we still doing Buddy Read of Didion?
What are you guys thinking of reading?
I think it's Where I'm From.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went to
Um,
the Didion exhibit at the
oh, how
Hammer
is
in
that?
LA. It was good. It was beautifully done, curated by Hilton Als, who I love too. But all of the plaques referenced where I was from a lot. And I remember when I read it at first, I didn't like particularly like it. Then again, though, I was like 16, so
Yeah.
yeah, so maybe I'll appreciate it more um, with time and like distance. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. But yeah, if you're doing more Didion.
Well, I have Run River,
Mm.
which I want to read. I've noticed that I tend to have a real fascination on reading authors' debut novels. So I think I'm going to do that one first.
Yeah, it's a sexy, sweltering summer read. There's a guy
Perfect for
named
that
yeah,
time.
yeah. There's a guy named Ryder Channing in the book. Such a porno name. So maybe there is sexy. I think she did do sexy in that one.
Maybe, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll keep you
yeah.
posted.
Cool, cool. But yeah. Speaking of sexy, I think we had one of our topics as erotica.
Yes. Well, because
Why did we bring up erotica?
well, I think you sent me that article about Clippy, which I didn't get a chance to fully read. And then I was like, oh, like I just started the story of O. And I was like, we can probably talk about that. And then I was thinking about how you last year, I think you were reading How to Train Your Dragon and all of those stories. So I felt like
Oh
there
yeah,
was
How
like
to Train
something
Your
we could talk
Virgin.
about. Oh,
Yeah.
How to Train
But I
Your
mean, if
Dragon.
you're into dragons, Kieran, sure. I mean, you know,
I think How to Train Your Dragon, I think that's like a children's book.
yes. Yeah,
Oh gosh.
children's DreamWorks.
Um,
Film.
Strap
But
on
yeah,
spelled backwards is no parts. That's a good one.
yeah. I will have to mention though, my favorite erotica that's like sexy and smart is Fantasian by Larissa Pham.
I
I
want to
don't
read
know.
that. I remember you talking about it. Tell us more though.
Yes, it's Asian American lesbian doubles sexy psychological thriller. It's insane. It's insane. It just like changed my scope on like what erotica can be. Because I feel like
Hmm.
erotica is just like, there's no brain in it, right? But there should be brain. There's room for brain,
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
for erotica.
yeah,
Do you know?
yeah,
I mean, like the pillow talk, I like good pillow
yeah.
talk.
Well, what I'm thinking about is like right now I'm reading the story of O, but I'm not very far into it. I'm only like the first chapter or so, and I think that the writing isn't hitting for me just yet. It seems very like plain. However, when doing I think the intellectual idea behind Story of O is where it's at, like that kind of fable quality. But I was doing some background reading on the Story of O, and basically this woman, because when the Story of O was first published in 1954, it was published anonymously, and there was a lot of like fervor and talk in France because they were like, who wrote this? Did a man write this? Did a woman write this? Who's the author? We got to figure it out. And the woman who wrote it, she came out, I think, in 1994 and said, yeah, like, I'm the one who wrote it. But the background story of it is that she was working in the publishing industry. She was involved with a man 20 years her senior, and I don't know, maybe he wasn't 20 years her senior. Maybe they'd been involved for 20 years, but they weren't married, I don't think. So it's one of those things. It could also be both of them, but he was an older man and she was involved with him and he was the publisher. And he basically was like, women can't write erotica. And so she set about to challenge that and wrote this book, being like, yes, they can, and here it is.
I've never heard of this book. What is it about, essentially?
It's about like a woman who's kind of her desire to like subjugate herself for her love puts her through like a series of like sexual escapades where he's just like, I want you to be with everyone. And it's just like, but she feels such a desire to be loved, I guess, and then like gets involved in a lot of stuff. It's Wikipedia says, Story of O is a tale of female submission involving a beautiful Parisian fashion photographer named O, who is taught to be constantly available for intercourse of all sorts, offering herself to any male who belongs to the same secret society as her lover.
Sounds hot for 1950.
Right?
I'll say that. Because I was going to say, my first introduction to like erotica was Little Birds by Annie Ernaux, who also wrote erotica, but it looks like it wasn't done until, well, it looks like she started writing in the 40s.
So they were kind of contemporaries-ish.
Yeah, perhaps. But that's interesting. The whole thing about like women can't write erotica.
Have you read The Pisces?
Oh, yes. I have read The Pisces. I don't have it with me, but The Pisces, okay, yes. Pisces, erotica. I mean, yeah, I think like there's this very interesting territory. Hi, Mother Najma. Hi. Yeah, I guess I would consider it erotica. And there's like brain in it. I think, but I think I was talking to someone and someone had said that like when it was first released, there's just like hate on it for being just so gross. But it's about this,
really?
this depressed woman who moves
Fall
to
in love
the
with
West
Fred.
Coast, to fall in love with a merman.
Woo.
Yeah. But like it's got some spicy scenes in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The woman does anal in the book. Like
I haven't read it.
if you feeling hot, get to the fish sex. I think you'll have a good time. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But I'm really excited. I don't know if it has earnest sex. That's right. The world needs more earnest sex.
It's just more earnesty in general.
Truly. But I have The Seas by Samantha Hunt. Has anybody read it? Is it sexy? I need to know. Because I heard there's like a lot of
I've seen the
urine.
cover. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm hoping that's sexy. It just feels like a nice equivalent. Broder herself said she enjoyed it a lot too, so yeah. But contemporary erotica, I don't think I've read much, honestly. Not very steamy.
The Seas is hot, but not sexy.
I say hot, not
It's an
sexy.
important but subtle difference.
Very subtle. No, you know what? I want them both. Just give them to me both. You know?
Yeah.
Why? That's
it's like
where
a
the
Venn
editor
diagram,
needs to come
hot,
in.
sexy, in the middle.
Give me the middle. The editor is like, yes, let's do the middle. You know what? Don't do one or the other. Let's
give
meet
them
in the
both.
middle. Yeah. Could Ernaux do erotica, do you think?
Probably.
Has she? I'm trying to remember Simple Passion. Was it like hot and steamy?
No. It's not because she doesn't really speak that much from what I remember of the act itself. It's more so
Mm.
the anticipation and the obsession
Mm.
that I think she
Yeah.
like fixates on more than the act itself. But what I did think was interesting in the excerpt that we read from the Vogue article, where she says, and I quoted it somewhere. Oh, I don't know. Maybe I was okay. Whatever. I'll go to the article itself. Let me share screen, guys. Woo! Things are getting
Ooh, I
spicy.
did have a favorite line. Can I read
Oh,
it?
okay. Maybe, yeah.
I felt as if I had been lying on a bed since age 18 and never risen from it. The same bed, but in different places, with different men, indistinguishable from one another.
That was good. I really liked the end of this one. Neither she nor he, caught up in the routines of a couple living together too young and worrying about exams, had ever imagined that making love could be anything other than a more or less slow motion satisfaction of desire, that it could be a sort of continuous creation.
See, I think she's got room for
Yeah.
hot and sexy, you know? I would love these like beautiful layers of this. Oh, continuous creation. That's crazy.
Yeah, the continuous creation was what was exciting. Ernaux getting lost is pretty steamy. She leaves no stone unturned. Getting lost felt like she had no editor trying to spare the public. And then the seeds is a sexy appetizer, but you need to hit up something else for the main course. And if you have room, then dessert waits with any and IDK, who would be the main course. Suggestions.
Main course. I don't know. I haven't read enough erotica either. I don't think to know.
We're really leaving you guys.
Have you read much erotica? Have you read much erotica?
No.
Have you done like 50 Shades of
I
Grey?
don't think so. Not too much. Yeah. I did the whole series. But it's really fun. I did it when I was living in India, as I mentioned earlier. I'm pretty sure like I may have started reading it on the work computer at my internship. Because I was really bored. I had like a PDF. Someone sent me a PDF of it. And that's how I read it.
I see how you pass the time. I see.
No, it was just, monsoon season. What else is there to do?
Right. Yeah. Do we need? There's one coming. There's got to be like another 50 Shades of Grey coming. Like another series that.
Tony, hello. Thank you for delivering with the main course.
Oh God. It would be very exotic. If anyone's ever done The Eye by Georges Bataille. I remember I read that. I think that was my, I would say, sexual awakening book.
Oh, really?
In terms of like queerism. I don't know if it's the best sexual awakening book for others, but yeah. Ooh, Jeanette Winterson. But it's like, Winterson is like hot and sexy in like delicious prose. It almost makes sex delicious. It puts a taste on sex.
Yeah.
Marquis de Sade. Now we playing dirty.
But I feel like that's like an over the top, like an excess, in which I guess it can be, but like there's a shock value there with his work.
Yeah. Do I want to be shocked during sex? Do we need shockers? I mean,
only if it's a good shock. You don't want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. The story of the eye is some fucked up shit.
Yeah. It's a slim one though. It's definitely interesting. If you do it.
That's not for me, but he's out there.
Different strokes
for different folks. I love saying that.
It's
I love how
true.
you can get away with saying that in like you can say in like corporate settings. But it's just like it's fine.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, Ernaux I think could do erotica. She should. You know, if she ever needs to sell out. I feel like a lot of writers during like Anaïs's Anaïs's time and like Story of O, people wrote erotica to not necessarily sell out, but make like pay rent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fran Lebowitz also wrote erotica.
She did? I didn't
Um,
know that.
yeah, she did. I'm like on eBay scourging for like looking for it. But yeah, she wrote erotica for a bit too, just to make rent as well.
Just to make
But it,
oh, I thought you said just to make friends. And I was like, yeah, that's
I
one way to
mean,
do it.
she lives alone, still lives alone, so a friend
Mm.
is a friend, no matter where you find them. But yeah, I feel like I don't know, erotica has like a bad rap to it, but it could be good, you know. Maybe or no will be that pioneer, you know. She'll
Mm.
be late in her life, needs to make rent one month
I
or
don't
something,
think
and
she's
puts
doing
out.
rent now that she's a Nobel Prize winner.
Does it pay that much though? I heard that
I mean, do they get money
like
for that? I don't think they got money, but I think that like the interest that people would it would bring about a renewed interest in her work is what I envision.
yeah. Okay, it's 10 million SEK, which is
Oh, what
Swedish. What
currency is
is,
that?
I don't, S
Let's put
E
that in
K.
USD, Nathan. Come on.
I know, I'm
The
sorry,
only
to
currency
USD.
that matters, even though um
It's
whatever, not everyone's using it now.
$900,000. $927,182.30.
And it doesn't get taxed, it's just like straight in the bank.
I don't know. Does the Nobel tax?
Well, I guess it probably depends. Like maybe France will tax her if she lives in France. I don't know their taxation laws.
Yeah,
But like if you won that as a U.S. citizen, you'd probably have to pay tax.
yeah. Imagine it's like the lottery, you know, it's like heavily
Yeah.
taxed or something. But 900, I don't know. If she lives in a nice place in Paris. Oh, I don't
Well,
know. What does one
one
do
would
with that
hope
money?
that at that point she probably like owns her house. Let's hope, right? We don't really know her finances or her life. So she
Yeah,
hopefully owns her house. Hopefully she doesn't have any debt. And then you just have 900K. Let's say even they take 300K. So she's left with 600K. She could, what can you really do with 600K? You can't buy most houses, to be honest with you. Because you need at least like a mil. But if she has children, I think she has two. 300K, 300K. There you go. That's what I would do. Just goes
none
to your
for
head at
her.
that point. Well, okay, maybe she can keep. Maybe she'll keep like, okay, let's do 20, 20, 20 for each. So she gets 20, kid gets, by 20, I mean 200. So she gets 200K, kids gets 200K, the other kid gets 200K.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's fair. It's
Yeah.
like here, I've cheated all my life just to feed my kids. Um,
um, yeah, that's also a good point. It is hard to write this stuff well
yeah,
because it all just sounds really trite.
yeah. But no, it can be written so well, I think. I think,
Can is the word there, you know? It looks, don't they have like an award for like the worst sex scene written in like literary fiction for the year? Like they have that.
is that a thing?
It is a thing, yeah.
Oh
I don't know what it's
wow.
called. Literary Reviews Bad Sex and Fiction Award. Oh, is that what it's called? It was called the Bad Sex and Fiction Award. Since 1993, it's has honored the year's most outstandingly awful scene of sexual description in an otherwise good novel. Drawing attention to the poorly written, redundant, or downright cringeworthy passages, the prize is not intended to cover actual explicit, like porn or expressly erotic literature, just novels that dabble.
Dabble. Yeah. It's hard cough to write erotica well. It ends up sounding really bad. Yeah. But I think we can do better. It's 2023, folks. We can do better.
Yeah. Bad sex word. It's a really funny award.
Yeah. I wonder if then do people just like set out to write the worst, most horrendous sex scene?
I'm gonna envision that the authors who they have the most like earnest of, you know, they're not aiming for this award. It just happens.
It's even sadder.
I know. They're probably like, yeah, like, oh man, this is so hard to do, but I really think I put my all in it. I tried, and you know, I'm really happy with how it turned out. And it's like, oh, I won the award for the best sex scene. Okay, Tony's got some intel. My novel was going to have a sex scene in it, but I found it impossible to write in a way that it didn't sound like one of those letters they used to print porn mags. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when Fran Lebowitz was writing erotica, she said it was hard.
It's hard
Like,
work.
yeah. It's like hard to like make it good. I wonder then if like for people who write scripts for porn, if like they find it incredibly difficult because it's like all bad. You know what I
I
mean?
don't think they're trying that hard to make it good.
I love me a good script though. It like right in front of my salad. It's a genius line. Love that. But yeah, I don't know. But you know, what if Ernaux just did like a, you know, like a meme book? What if she did write erotica? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then
I mean,
like
maybe she
her
has,
erotica
but she
wouldn't be a
just hasn't
seller.
like.
Yeah, I
Oh,
wonder if it's
should
like
we
in her
read some?
diaries. I think we should.
Okay, I think I found them. Unless I found the wrong thing. Okay, we have here the absolute worst entries. We got up from the chair and she led me to her elfin grot, getting amongst the pillows and cool sheets. We trawled each other's body for every inch of history. Naughties by Ben Master. Is this the website you're looking at? Oh, shortlist. Yeah, okay, we're on the same website. Back to Blood by Tom Wolfe. Now this big generative jockey was inside. Oh.
Pelvic saddle.
That just
Ooh,
doesn't even.
writing.
Yeah, that's not good. He began thrusting wildly in the general direction of our chrysanthemum, but missing, his paunchy frame shuddering with the effort of remaining rigid and upside down. I can't read all of these out loud because we actually have a guest over. So, you know.
Oh, okay. Should I read them? Or do you
Yeah,
have
you.
me on? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can.
I was like, it seems like you're doing all the hard work.
I need you to pick up some of the slack here, Nathan.
Here we go. Winkler. I'm not quite sure what is the winking or the one committing the winking. Okay. And he came hard in her mouth, and his dick jumped around and rattled on her teeth, and he blacked out. And she took his dick out of her mouth and lifted herself from his face and whipped the pillow away, and he gasped and glugged at the air. And he came again so hard that his dick wrenched out of her hand and hit him straight in the eye and stung like nothing he'd ever had in there. And he yelled with pain. But the yell could have been anything, and as he grabbed at his dick, which was leaping around like a shower dropped in an empty bath, She scratched his back deeply with the nails of both hands, and he shot 3 more times in thick stripes on her chest, like Zorro.
Like Zorro. Oh my goodness.
That was the punchline, like Zorro. That was insane. Okay, from the late Hector Kipling by David Thewlis. This is not pleasurable. How could anyone find having burning hot candle wax dipped onto the flesh of their belly pleasurable? But I don't want to tell her to stop, because the last time I told her to stop, I got belted in the mouth. She wears an average of 3 rings on each finger. God, Mum was right. This lousy SETI does stink. No wonder Dad's in hospital. I might well be joining him by the end of the night. I think I'm still insider, but quite honestly, it's difficult to tell.
Avanti.
Oh, it goes on.
Yeah.
Auntie, you fucker. She drawls and brings the flame up close to my left nipple. You pathetic little fucker. And tries to light it like a wick. Ow! Oh shit, my nipple's on fire. She's poured lighter fluid onto my chest and my tits gone up in flames like some dessert in a posh restaurant.
I feel like that one's not that bad because it's showing something that already is bad. Do you know what I mean? Like he's not enjoying himself.
It sounds like it could, come out of the 40-year-old virgin. Oh shit, my nipple's on fire. That's pretty good.
It's just really early. I'm here because I'm up. Today's the last day of school. I teach, by the way. Oh, I didn't know that. You're teaching and we're giving you some good reading material.
I hope this is making your morning. From Absurdistan by Gary. You want to pop me, she said. This must have been some newfangled youth term. The verb, to pop. I want to bust a nut inside you shortly, I said. I want to make you sweat
Shorty.
too. Let's do this thing. Oh. I want to bust a nut inside you, shorty. I said, I want to make you sweat, boo. Let's do this thing.
Okay, I think we got enough.
How do you feel about like writing like ow or like laughter? What is that to you?
Like he said ow.
Yeah.
Or I don't think I was like he said laughingly.
Yeah. Like if there's like laughing in the novel and it's written out like ha 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 ha.
Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that.
What about like ow? That too. Or
ow, I think it potentially could be okay. But a ha 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 is like weird. It's very like YA writing, I feel. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. To me, it's
like, I do
license
say
revoked.
Yeah.
But in literature, I mean, like, should it exist in literature?
But like, there is something to be said about like something being truthful and factual. So it's like, okay, like if I were to hit my arm on something, yeah, I would say ow.
Mm.
But like, how many people ha ha ha?
It's true. That's true. Yeah. But so yeah, autofiction. You would put in the ow. The ow is what
I wouldn't. But if someone were to make the case for an ow, I'd be okay with it. But I don't think I would do it. It'd be like, no, it's not happening.
Yeah. But does it work in erotica? Is it allowed in erotica?
Ow. I mean, I guess if it hurt.
Yeah. Okay. No, my big things are no exclamation points, no written laughter, and just like audible like ows or eep or just like audible sounds. Yeah. Like my big no-nos. I'm just like license revoked.
Yeah.
You don't deserve to write anymore. But do you have that with like anything you read that like leads you to a DNF? You know what I mean?
I don't know if it would necessarily lead me to a DNF. Like I read Sarah J. Maas, and I should DNF that, but I still keep going. But I tend to not really like the dashes. Like
dashes.
I don't necessarily think they do well in writing.
Interesting.
is what I tend to think. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm kind of down for whatever.
I mean, if we're sitting here, reading out the bad
Yeah.
erotica, I think we're down for anything, right? No
Yeah.
discrimination.
Exactly. None whatsoever.
We'll take it all. We'll take it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. But cool. Yeah. Erotica. We need more smart, sexy erotica.
Well, I think
And
if we had a message to take away from this chat is that we need more. We need more experimental writing. We need more erotica. We just need more of everything.
endless content. Content never
Yeah,
sleeps. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So more reading. Uh, but like, okay, you're like in the middle of so many books. How are you reading so much? Like, what's the reading time for you?
Well, I was reading a couple of weeks ago about Molly Young, and she was saying that she reads like 2 to 3 hours a day. And I was
Just
like,
like,
I don't think it's like from 8 to 11 she's reading. It's more so just like she probably reads an hour in the morning and she reads in the evening. Like she was thinking
mhm.
like I think as a whole I probably spend an hour, it's 3 hours reading. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I should be spending 3 hours reading.
Are
Because
you not?
I don't think so. I think I'm a quick reader, but um I could be spending more time reading. Like I'm cognizant of where my time goes. And all things considered, I'm really squandering it. Like yesterday was a lost day for me. I barely did anything. But I don't know. I just like I think I can hold like lots of different projects in my head at the same time. So that's why I just like read more than one thing generally.
Yeah. But in
But
terms of
I'm go
like
ahead.
reading, is there like a dedicated amount of time that you spend to reading, or is it just sort of like sporadic and all over the place?
It's sporadic, but my POV here is like I should every day I read and write. That's the new message I'm telling myself. It doesn't obviously always happen. I don't always write every single day. I definitely probably read every single day. And minimum, I probably just generally hit like an hour, just naturally. But I don't read every single day. I just read most days.
Yeah.
What about you?
I have to do like dedicated time slots, sort of.
Oh, really? Because you're that busy?
Yeah.
Wow, way to
Yeah, I'm
flex
that
on
busy.
me.
No, not at all. It's just like I'm just so I have to, otherwise it won't be done. But most of it's like commute reading. So when I'm
Okay.
commuting, I'll read a bunch. But like, I mean, this didn't happen today, but every morning I try to like pick up the book and read and not
Mm.
like look at my phone.
Yeah,
Sort
yeah,
of just
yeah.
like just train my brain into doing that and just like I wouldn't say the best way to wake up because I think one time I ended up falling back asleep. But just like this idea of trying to form words and reading sentences and constructing it and seeing it, um, and forming story early in the morning to like propel brain functions almost.
So wait, do you mean like how much time do you have in the morning? Do you just like quickly get ready, then it's commute time?
Oh, that
Or
was
do you
gonna be
have
my
like
question for you. Like, what's your morning? Like,
I asked you
I wake up. I actually wake up at 5:30. So I was like surprised when that you were like up at like 5:30. I was like, oh, wow, crazy. But yeah, I wake up at 5:30 and then 5:30 to 6, I'll spend time reading. And then 6 I'll just like
first.
get ready. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then,
See,
if I like if it doesn't work out and like I know I'm falling asleep, then I'll have to like open up Instagram and TikTok and
got it.
stuff.
So
Yeah,
you
to
start
just
your
like
day with reading.
trying to these days.
But
Yeah.
this is a new thing, right? Like how new? Like
Oh, like the past, like since March-ish,
Oh,
February.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. Before it was just like very sporadic, and there was like,
Yeah.
yeah, because I think I'm reading more now than I am than I did last year.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. But I'll do some reading before bed as well to put me to sleep. I don't know, it's weird.
I feel you. I don't read in the morning. Um, as I tell my sister, it tends to give me a headache, which is
Mm.
she thinks is baloney. But for some reason, like I don't really gravitate towards reading in the morning. But like once I've like been awake for a bit, like maybe by like 10 o'clock, I could start reading. Like today I did because I wanted to finish this for a chat. So I started reading this at like 7, and I was a little worried that I might get a headache, but I didn't. Um, so I generally don't read in the morning, and I tend to reading is very much so like a procrastinating thing for me. Like I have things to do, I don't want to do them. Oh, okay, I'll like read a book.
Mm.
There's a lot I'm procrastinating on.
But that's good. That just means more reading
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Right.
exactly.
You like, you know, run through Crime and Punishment with that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Are you
So,
reading generally
do you
like
do any? Oh,
okay.
sorry. Do you do any reading like before bed also, or?
Sometimes, but sometimes I tend to find that I think I should do it more because I can read before bed, but a lot of the times I'm like not really in the mood to read before bed. I'd
Mm.
rather like watch YouTube or like watch some videos. But I can read before bed, and the problem though is sometimes I don't want to stop. Like I have no,
Oh,
like I can really get like sucked into it and then be like I can't go to sleep until I finished this book.
oh wow. When was like the last read for you that like sort of did that or had that effect?
Let me go look at my books I read. Let's see.
Because I feel like I haven't like gotten that
Oh, that
in a
like
while.
compulsive, like you really have to finish it.
Yeah.
Well, generally, like I kind of feel that way about. I don't read that much fantasy, but when I do read fantasy, if it's good, I finish it very quickly. And good is
Mhm.
here is very like subjective because in many regards they're not that great. It's more so just like that desire to like
Entertaining. It's like,
yeah. Like you want to like finish it through. So a lot of like Sarah J. Maas's last book, I like devoured it in less than 24 hours. It was very much so like I sat down and I finished it. Like I had a headache after that and the next day because that was a lot of reading. And it was during like fashion month. And so my boss was like texting me because technically I had signed off, right? And I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm just gonna keep on reading. But she wanted me to do something else. And I was like seeing her text message and I was like, fuck it. Like yeah.
love that. Love that.
But I think maybe Burnham Wood was the last one I read this
Oh,
month, and I was like, oh, like it was fun.
okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to look into that then. Yeah. I've been looking for that spicy read, you know, that keeps me up. I feel like I haven't like done that since really university.
Oh my God, Nathan, what are you reading?
I know, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. It's also because I fall asleep easily. So
Oh,
also, so
I I don't, and if I get like a second wind also, so it can be
mm,
like if I'm tired. I'm also meaning to ask you, what time do you go to bed? Because I feel like both wake up early, but I feel like you sleep less than I do.
I think I do.
Yeah.
I go to bed at like usually like 12.
I see. If I went to bed at 12, I would probably, when I was working full time and doing school, I would go to bed at 12, wake up at 6. But most of the time, I'm in like bed by 10, 11, and then wake up by 6.
Oh
It's
wow, like
like
you're dead asleep at 10.
most of the time. Yeah.
Oh wow.
But
Okay.
sometimes I'm just like bored. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll go to sleep.
Nothing else to do today.
Yeah, like day's done.
Let's get unconscious.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't really sleep. But I sleep easily is a thing too.
I don't sleep easily. One time, not like a super light sleeper, but I think I am more on the light sleeper side of things than not. And like I can't take naps. I'm not a very good napper.
I see.
Like I would maybe have to have like a headache or have like been out all night, and maybe then I could nap. But even then, it's like it can be really challenging for me.
Mm-hmm. I see. And are you also like reading? So then, like, if you had like a typical day, when are you reading during the day? And like, where are you reading? Is it like
I don't
a
have. I can read anywhere.
cafe?
I don't care.
Anywhere.
I was thinking about this today because I think we mentioned third spaces the last time we talked. I think we
Mm-hmm.
did. Yeah. Is that I would love because you do a really good job of like going out and reading. I feel like you'll be like in a cafe. Like I see those IG photos. I like tend
It's for the
to.
Insta.
Yeah, I tend to find myself that I'm like like I could read wherever, but there's something about going to a cafe where I'm just like it's probably going to be too cold. They might not have what I like. What if I don't like the menu? What if I get a coffee and it's not that good? There's just like all these things.
So many factors. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, you can't go wrong with the coffee. Oh,
Yes, you
well, you won't
can.
be drinking like bad coffee.
Yeah, it could be bad. Well, I'm like, so I was a late coffee drinker.
Okay.
Why does everything go back to me and coffee?
It's a
But like I
sign.
went,
History repeats
I went
itself.
I went through all of college without drinking coffee. Like I didn't drink coffee in high school, college, nothing like that. I started drinking coffee afterwards when I graduated, and I would be driving back and forth from Boston to New York, and I was like, "Oh, it's late. Like I might fall asleep at the wheel. Let me drink caffeine." That's how I started drinking coffee, and so I don't really have, I think, a very complex palate. You know what I mean? Like I
Mm.
like it to be like I like cream in my coffee. You know what I mean? Like I want a dessert essentially,
The
but
vanilla
not
sweet
too
cream
sweet.
cold
Yeah,
brew.
exactly. But at the same time, not too sweet because I'm Asian in the regards that I consume something. I'm like, yeah, that's good. It's not too sweet. It has to
Yeah.
just be like the right amount.
Yeah. Yeah. I see. Okay, so you do have like problems with like lattes, would you say? Like a bad cappuccino, a latte,
Oh
anything
no, I
with
would just
like.
say I'm fussy. It doesn't even have to be with lattes. It's like everything. I'm a
Oh,
little
okay,
fussy.
okay. I see. I see.
Like I'm down.
Yeah.
Like I'm very easygoing, but internally, like I'm probably like tweaking out about something.
Aren't we all? We need
Yeah.
moments to tweak, right? Yeah, I really do, because like, oh, the thing is, I can't read at home. But the only time I can read at home is if I'm
Before you go to bed.
bed. It's the bed that makes it the
Yeah.
perfect reading spot. But like, I can't read at a desk. But
Mm.
like, if it's a cafe or something, I can. I don't know why. I think it's just like that third space that I have to go
We need
to
more
to.
third spaces. But the
Yeah.
problem with third space, because this is what I was thinking about, because right now my mother's in England, so like I get her a car, so I have a car. And I was thinking about what I did yesterday. And then I was like, okay, like if you drive into Boston, I'm gonna have to park somewhere. I'm gonna have to pay for that parking. Once I get to that cafe, it might be too busy. I might not get the seat that I want, but I've already paid for parking. And I get there and maybe it's like, did I not bring the right sweater? Is there AC too high? Like, are my feet cold? Like, those are the things that I think about. That's why I was like mad, because it's like I have the car, I could do anything, right? Once your car is king in America. But you have to then take into consideration the parking, where are you going? Did you bring the right stuff?
Do you then like read in the car? Do you just end up sitting in the
I
parking
could
lot and
read in the
read?
car. Yeah, I have no problem. I've done that so much.
That could be your third space. It's like your portable
My third
third
space is the
space.
car. But
Yeah.
Layla has a suggestion. In the summer, you need to go to a park, but then you have to bring
Yes.
a blanket or you said you're lucky and you get a bench. But what if it's too cold? You have to make sure you brought a sweater. You need a beverage.
It's summer.
You need
Why are
access
you
to a
cold?
bathroom. Nathan, I run cold. Like I'm very much one of those. Like I'm not a big AC person. So that's why in the summer times I find it really hard because Americans love AC, but I mean most places that are really hot go like heavy on the AC, but they don't need to. Your body needs to acclimate a little bit to the heat. I
How
say
did
this
you
as
do
someone
New
who's
York
always
then?
cold.
In the
I
summer?
suffer through
Did you
life.
do...
Yeah, but I suffer through life. Like, but in New York, I didn't use the AC very often. Like my roommates, they would use the AC in their rooms, but I wouldn't use the AC in my room. Like I'm very okay with like a decent amount. Like if it's 70 degrees, I'm chilling. I have no issues.
In the summer? With like humidity?
I also like I'm really bad at gauging humidity. Like I don't know what that is, and I don't know.
What is this like superhuman? What? I'm someone who gets like hot easily.
I'm not. I don't suffer that. I don't have that problem.
Lucky.
I'm always cold.
Yeah. God. We should switch lives.
No, thank you.
Freaky Friday.
I mean, actually, it'd be cool to be in Seoul for a little bit, but I don't want to be. I don't want to be one of those. I've been around the people who get hot very easily. You guys are really annoying.
Let me tell you, it is annoying. But yeah, but that's also why I carry like a crazy bag with me. I'm like that crazy bag lady.
As Nora pointed out, you need
There
a
we
tote
go.
bag. But I don't know if everyone knows this. I know the people, if there's anyone here from Pleck who knows this, I don't like tote bags. Like I don't like a canvas tote bag. I feel like it's always slipping off your shoulders. They're like, I don't feel a need to accumulate 70 bazillion tote bags. Like I'm okay. I don't even want a bag. I don't want to carry anything. I don't want to need anything, but unfortunately I need a lot of things. But I would love, like a Jackie. Oh, like the ultimate luxury is just to go somewhere with only like a credit card. That's it. Because you have no problem buying anything. Like you don't need anything. You can travel anywhere and all you just need is your access to money and that's it. I'm not at that level yet, but I still like to pretend. So I would suffer and not bring a tote bag, but be carrying like 7 things in my hands.
It's like not even a bag. You don't even have a bag that you...
I have like a tote bag right now. Well, but like I don't like to go out with it. It's really big. Okay. By a tote bag in this case, it's like a leather bag that's like it's quite big, really spacious. It's really good for travel. That's why I brought it with me to England. Sorry, when I came back and whatever. But like let's say yesterday I was like, okay, let me go to a cafe. So I packed up my bag with my laptop, my notebook, 2 books, a pencil, a pen. Then when I got to the cafe, I was like, I don't even want to carry this inside. My shoulder hurts. So I just went inside the cafe, walked around a little bit, came back to the car, and went home. That's what I did. Yeah.
At least you're getting your cardio.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to get the steps. I get those steps in. Those are really important to me.
Huh. Yeah. But I mean, like naturally, when you have a book and you're going out, you have to have a bag, right?
I would rather carry the book.
You would rather carry a book.
Yeah, but it's hard because you can't just carry a book. You also need a pencil.
Yeah. Oh, are you like underlining and like jotting down notes? Do you do that?
I underline.
Are you like Post-its or like?
I underline the important bits and then I will. Sometimes if it's like a paragraph on the side, I'll do a line and then I do like a star. I occasionally circle words, but I don't really jot as much as I should. And then I use like a index card and I like write page numbers or actual thoughts. Oh. So pretty much like all of the books I've read in recent years, they all have like an index card in there.
That's crazy. Is there one that has like multiple index cards? Crime and Punishment, Look at Dick.
I think it will. I think so. But then sometimes when I look back at my index card, I'm like, because sometimes I try to keep a commonplace book. It's not going very well for me. But I'll be like, okay, like let me write my notes. Let me go check what I liked. And I'm like, this is baloney. Why did I like this? Like occasionally, yeah, like some of it's good. But other times I'm like, you didn't really need to note that down.
Yeah. Are you also making distinctions between like what you choose, like what you're jotting down and underlining in your note card? Like say, oh, this line was
Oh yeah,
good
yeah, yeah, yeah.
because
So
of
like
like,
I'll probably underline a lot of stuff, but then what goes on the note card is more like what I actually think is important from there.
oh, I see, I see. To like in terms of like
Because it's not
theme
like I don't
or like
theme or like a good
theme and
line
target.
or something.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And then ultimately that's your bookmark,
Yeah, that's my
the note
bookmark.
card. Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's a question everyone should be asking. I think like what are you using as a bookmark? I don't think most people are asking that. I'm
What are you
curious.
using,
I want to
Nathan?
know. Recently, well, for Ada, I used this ticket stub. It's kind of sexy.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty great. But on the Huge Sunny's
Oh,
book truck. Yeah,
nice.
it's like nice, thick, and stocky. It's just like the perfect bookmark. Yeah, still reading this, but yeah. But usually it's just the note card that you have.
Yeah. I thought I really did something when I figured that out. I was like, whoa.
No, it's smart.
Yeah.
Because like sometimes if you go to like bookshops, they have like the bookmark where on the back of it they have like space to write notes on, just like lines on
Hmm.
it. What is it? I think Elliott Bay Book Company does that, I think, in Seattle. And oh, what's that bookstore in New York? Um, but a few bookstores do it, which I think is cute. It's just like I can't fit all my notes on this tiny little bookmark. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also like you don't need to buy a bookmark to do that. Just buy like index cards for like $2 and you have like 100.
You'll
That's
never run out.
literally it. Yeah.
Never run out. Yeah. No,
Mm.
but I love note cards. I love note cards when I'm drafting. So like,
And they move them around.
yes, yes. I think who else does that?
I think
Nabokov
Nabokov
did
does
that a
it.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Nabokov was big index card guy. So he'd yeah, he'd like write things and then rearrange it in the ways that he wanted. And I thought that was so smart. It really
Mm-hmm.
helps. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I should do that. I am running out, so I'll do that. But I've recently gotten into, I don't know, I think Bookstagram made me do it, but like
Are you gonna pull out
tabs.
some posts?
I have these really cool ones.
Yeah.
These are translucent.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't know how to show. You can
Yeah, I
kind of
can see.
see
I
it.
see. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. They're just cool because like I feel like the post-it shouldn't like take up and hide certain
Mm,
excerpts. So I like this one a lot. But
that's good.
I like sticky note tabs, like the color, the gradient. Bookstagram made me do it, and I regret it.
But those people, they go overboard. And some of the stuff that they decide to tab, like they're tabbing like Sarah J. Maas books, like she's fucking writing the Bible. And it's just like, what are you
Yeah.
guys
It's just
doing?
like,
You guys should
are you
touch
like gonna go
grass.
back?
They do. I think they do.
I don't know. I don't know. Although one thing that I had my friend do, I recently did this with a Clarice Lispector book. I seldomly highlight in books. I'll only do
Like
it if
with a
it's like
highlighter or like,
yeah, with a
what do you mean?
highlighter.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I'll usually do it for nonfiction because it's just like easier to
To
do
see.
to just yeah, to see. But oh, and I'm using I think CJ is also using these, but the Stabilo
Hmm.
um
Nice.
highlighters, they're so great. They're like this, all of them are just like pastel colored and they're
Cute.
yeah, It's just like it dries quickly. They're wonderful. But what I decided to do, I did this with Near to the Wild Heart, Clarice Lispector, where I highlighted lines that I thought were great. And I gave it to my friend and asked her to like highlight all the parts that
Oh,
she thought were good. And then what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read the novel again,
looking for like hers. Yeah.
but like only reading the novel in the context of the highlighted lines. Because then it's like, what is reading? You know what I mean? What does it
Yeah.
mean to like read a novel? What happens if you strip the novel down to parts that like speak to you the most? Um, then isn't that the totality of like what a novel should be doing or what it is or what its like purpose is,
Yeah.
right? It's like Spark Notes. Is that reading a book?
I mean, I guess, but then I do think also at the same time, like what you'll see, like obviously you and your friend, there will be sections that you both will have highlighted, but then there will be things that she only highlights that you also on your own would like you highlighted different things. And so you'd be, it's like a lens to view the book, which would be different than yours. It'd be like I would have a different version of it as well. So I think
Yeah.
it's a sort of reading.
But would you contextualize it as like like a wholesome reading experience?
No.
Okay.
I
Okay.
I think I would be like, this is the Nathan's lens to the book. Like if Crime and Punishment, I would be like, for me, that line that I mentioned of the like, all I spend my time doing is thinking and I
Mhm.
suffer. That's Kieran's perspective. That's not the whole entire book, right? Like I think that's how I would think of it. And like maybe you would be like, the scene of the murder was popping off, so that is the novel. And in some regards, that is the novel. But
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, so I don't think it's the totality.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I've been thinking about a lot of like what reading is in terms of going back to like the whole AI writing a book, you know, ChatGPT
Mhm.
and the death of the novel and this whole idea of like autofiction and taking auto outside of fiction. Um, there's did I send the article? I think I did.
The
Um,
one,
about Tan Lan. He's
oh yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
like
You just sent that.
poet that like writes experimental poetry, and he has this like very cool concept of like what a book can be, the sort of like going beyond a book's limitations. And I loved this one quote that he had that he said, so that reading was like a book only to the extent that a book is regarded as a porous, unstable, and provisional platform for the dissemination of information. We tend to think of books as interiorized devices linked to solitude and self-enclosed spaces, and they deliver something like meaning up to the reader. But he's not really interested in that. And he was thinking about like, why can't a book be more like a perfume or a door or the year after we graduated from college? A perfume is a communications medium just as literature is. Moods, furniture, restaurants, and books are communications mediums. It's like, and then he references Warhol, where Warhol said, I think the right hormones can make Chanel #5 smell very butch.
Yeah, well, that is perfume.
Right?
But I don't know
But
if
it's
I can
like,
fully get on board with that. I think that's a very like poet response. Yeah. So Nathan, I was so cold I had to go get a space heater.
what's the weather like in Boston? Isn't it like warm? Are
Oh,
we
it's
heading
nice, I'm
into like warm?
sure. I'm just cold in my house, you know. I like always have a space heater on, especially in summer too.
That's crazy.
You know. But yeah,
I
sorry.
love that though. But no, like room for like experimental fiction. Um, what is that space for experimental fiction? And
Maybe it's a perfume.
right. But yeah.
But
That
I
was
do
a
find
lot.
the question of like experimental fiction to be really hard, especially when people are like Jarrett was talking about it in his little situation, his interview about like experimentation, what comes next. And I was like, I don't fucking know. Like, you're asking too many questions. I don't know what comes next. I'm sorry. I know the novel. I know that form. I like that form. Yeah, it can be played around with, but it's like, it's hard. How do you be experimental?
Yeah. But also the novel has been like written for like centuries.
There's nothing
In
wrong with
that
it. It's Lindy. Let's keep
there's
it
right,
up.
exactly. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think there's room for experimental fiction, but also I feel like, I don't know, every year the novel, there's always a good novel coming out. I don't know. 2023 hasn't been that hot with new releases for me, but
Same.
yeah, yeah. But I don't know. I think that that's what it is also. It's like the newness in novels coming out and reading backlist and like new stuff and just like constantly reading endless content. You know what I mean? It
Hmm.
has to keep going. And I live for it.
Yeah,
It's life. Literature is life.
exactly. You can say that again.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that about covers everything that we
Woo.
had on our plate. Yeah.
Yeah.
In a 2 hour and 30-minute chat.
We're talking about a lot of things. Oh,
Yeah.
Nora's got some thoughts. Sometimes experimental fiction seems to experiment for experiment's sake. Form doesn't serve content.
That's exactly how I felt about this, is that there was just not a warmth to it, but then also, I don't know, how do you write warmth into this necessarily? But yeah, experiment for experiment's sake. I think it's definitely, like, I feel like experimental fiction is definitely for people, for writers, like a writer's writer,
Yeah.
people who are just very interested in form versus, not to say that there's like a lay person and a lay reader, like books for the general public, but and that like that's a bad thing. It's not at all. Like, but yeah, experimental fiction often comes off as cold. There isn't necessarily humanity to it. It only exists in a lab. Um, Only curious, almost like in an academic sense, if you will.
Yeah, like it's something to, it's an,
To
like
be
not an
dissected.
experiment. Yeah. Like it's just an exercise to go through versus to live it. But I would say that I would think, because we have spoken about it, I think the Sluts has like a vitality, like I don't think the Sluts is cold. I think it's like,
Mm,
it feels very living, breathing, and
yeah,
energetic.
yeah. It's almost like dissecting on a live organism that's like
Yeah.
trying to leap off, which, yeah, you're right. But I did feel that this was somewhat cold. Um,
I think it's because of those third person sections. I think had the third
yeah,
person stuff not been in there, it would have been a lot stronger.
agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, also in his interviews, he does come, I feel like, very much trapped in the intellectualism of things. So
What he's doing. Yeah.
yeah, with what he's trying to achieve and what he's focusing on, and it's less about um, yeah, for the people, for the reader. But I think like when you're writing, it's important to keep the reader in mind. You know what I mean? Like when we write, I think we ultimately understand that it's for somebody else. It's meant to be read, you know?
Yeah.
The act of writing is, I think, selfish in itself, but in the end, it almost becomes selfless. See what I did there?
Yeah.
But
But I don't know entirely if I agree that you should be writing for the reader. I think you should be
no,
writing.
yeah, that's what you would call a sellout.
Yeah.
right?
Because it's like, for example, like my personal thing is like, did you watch the interview I sent you, the video one?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
hour. Yeah. There was lots of interesting stuff in there for sure, but the one that stood out for me the most was when Jarrett goes, everything I try to do it a little bad. And that bothered me a lot.
Yeah.
I did not like that. Because I'm like, well, is that a little bit of a cop out to be like, any criticism you give at me, he can brush it off his shoulders a little bit, being like, well, that was intentional. Like I did that part. Like I just found that to be a really weird thing to say, especially because I think when it comes to something you're writing, like you should, like that should be the best that you can do at that time. And like you're really like say it with your chest.
Yeah.
Not like
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't like that part.
It definitely came off as like l'enfant terrible, like energy and just like bad boy energy and just like almost like Bret Easton Ellis-ish, just like being annoying.
Yeah.
Being that annoying, precocious writer. But like he's smart. And I don't know. He's an asshole about it. That's what it is.
A little, but not fully. Like I think he has a self-awareness.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And he also doesn't take himself like terribly seriously.
Yeah.
Like there were like
Which I like
funny
that.
there's like a bit of humor in here, which it took me a
Mm-hmm.
bit by surprise, but yeah. But have you done like Jonathan Safran Foer, Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close?
That
It was also adapted
I've
into a
seen
movie
the
with
book
like
cover.
yeah.
I think I might own this, but I haven't read it.
That one's quite experimental in that like words literally fall off the page.
Mm.
And it also becomes image too. Just like plays with image and text very interestingly. And I just feel like I haven't like read experimental fiction like that in a really long time because that actually has a humanity. It's also a 9/11 book.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, just like that and like House of Leaves. Just like
I haven't read House
experimental
of
fiction like
Leaves.
that. I have it. I've read like a portion of it, but I think I was just too young to understand at the time. But it's a fun experience. Yeah.
Would you
But
read more of Jarrett's work?
okay, so I've read his work before.
Oh, okay. Been meaning to ask you that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was at Skylight Books. I saw this. I was like, "What is this?" And then I like looked it up on Goodreads, and I was like, "Oh, it's about the 9/11 bomber." What? Sounds just like coming of you know, great American story, and it's about a
Yeah.
9/11. Anyway, I thought, "Oh, this sounds interesting. Why haven't I heard about him before?" I checked my Goodreads, realizing that I have read one of his works before. I read BTW, and I confused this writer with another writer um, who wrote Fuck Up. I forget his name. Oh, it's Arthur Nersesian. Um, but yeah, I just confused both writers for some reason because I think the covers were quite similar. And they're both about the same thing. BTW by Kobek is about like that late 20 somethings doesn't know what to do with his life in New York, and the same goes for the Fuck Up. So I thought they're the same person, but yeah, I've read his work before, and I thought it was fine. It was just kind of just something that like an angry, um, MFA writer would write, living in New York. Yeah.
But it does seem like he's written a lot of stuff. It's really
Yeah, yeah, and a lot of
like
like
a lot
different
of
stuff
books.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, which is interesting. Um, but yeah, he's an interesting thinker. I am curious about like the way he writes novels and approaches them. But yeah, other than that, I don't know if I'll read more of his work, maybe. I don't know. The TBR is endless.
Yeah, endless. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you.
But are there like dire reads that you have to like read that you're like anticipating, like need to read now?
Like in my life or just right now? Like what's top of mind?
Sort of like for 2023.
I know. I'm very much so like whatever comes my way. Ideally, I would like to read something that I'm like, this is amazing. This is brilliant. But that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel the same way. Like a new release, I'm like waiting for a new release that's just like hasn't happened yet. Not really.
Yeah. Yeah. I've in the last 2 months, I've read a lot more new releases, but there's nothing that I'm anticipating. Like, there's nothing that I'm like, oh yeah, I really need to read this new release. Like, oh, I can't wait for the new, what's it called?
Oh, I did get my hands on the new Anne Patchett. I'm kind of excited. Yeah. Yeah. Someone reached out, but Tom Lake.
Oh.
Tom Lake. Yeah, and I'm really excited to get that. I like Anne Patchett. Yeah, she's great. I think that's sort of the only thing. Oh, and also sorry, not to flex. I don't mean to flex, but also Death Valley by Melissa Broder.
Nice.
Yeah. Just super. Also, the
I
cover
really
is
like
just
that
stunning.
cover. Yeah.
Right?
Nice.
It's the pink, the hot pink.
Yeah.
And it's like teardrop cactus. But I think that's it. That's it. But I think Alex, calling you out, if you're still here, gave 3 stars for Death Valley. Did I see that right on
Whoa.
Goodreads? So I need to very curious to ask about that. But yeah, that's it in terms of anticipated reads. But yeah. Last
Any
comments,
final
questions,
words?
concerns?
Yes. I was really hoping someone would come to us with like a question about their love life, but I recognize that we are not like a love life hotline. We are booktubers, but I'm ready at any moment to pivot into a love guru. So please.
Yeah, you can call us at 1-800. We'll read you bad erotica. Oh,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe the next time we'll do a hotline. We answer questions about love.
Oh my god, that'd be so great. And the CIA will sponsor us.
Yeah.
Because we talked about this 9/11 book.
Yeah, they're already like flagging us. They're like,
bad erotica.
We wanted more life in we wanted the humanity. We wanted to see and understand. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
But okay. Wow. Thanks, Karen, for doing this. It was great.
Thank you, Nathan.
Lots of fun. Yeah. Always, you got a good brain.
So do you. It's because I'm sleeping those solid 8 hours.
Love that. But yeah, I should probably get some sleep on this end of the world. But
and thank you guys for joining us, hopping in at any time or coming in later, whatever it may be. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Love you all. Bye.